Welcome everyone to the second night of the Winstel 400. Tonight we are running our heats and our second chance qualifier here from the Daytona National Speedway. Joined beside me is Cruz, former winner of the Winstel 400.
Hey guys.
And as we sit here at the end of practice, we're watching them listening to the drivers' meeting as we get ready to go racing tonight to set the first set of 12 drivers to transfer through into the main event Sunday night. Last night we set the front row of Alec Martinez and Parker Alexander, both making their way through into the show. Now we have 41 spots to fill between tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, and as you said, we're getting 12 of those filled in this race. One thing that I've been looking at least in this practice session, so we've been having, practice races and stuff throughout the month of December leading up to this month, or leading up to this week, rather. But there's a lot of people who are showing up for this race that we have not seen in any of these practice sessions. These are the first times a lot of these drivers, there's a lot of rookies. I was pointing this out before the broadcast started. There's a lot of rookies in this field and in the next heat race that are either making their first ever Winstel 400 week start or their second ever, and that is shown in these practice sessions. There's a lot of uneasiness, a lot of nerves, probably more nerves than normal here, just with all the people who aren't familiar with these setups. We saw a lot of little short practice sessions or little short practice runs because somebody would get in the wall, they'd kind of get up too high, or a bump would go wrong. I think this is probably going to be more chaotic than we've seen in years past, not just because it's Daytona, but I just think it's due to the amount of people jumping in, really using the last hour or less if they jumped in later as their first time in this car.
Yeah, I mean, these cars are insanely quick here compared to what we have on next gen. They're about 10 miles an hour faster. Just on pace alone, go about 200 miles an hour average in the draft. And ripping a big Tandy, you can hit easily 215 miles an hour down the back straightaway in the 3. So these cars are heavy. They look like they make a lot of downforce with that big spoiler on the back, but they really don't handle that great. So a lot of guys hauled off into the corner, don't lift, and they'll knock the wall down, or they'll push up into the guy beside them. So a lot of learning to do, which most people have done in the weeks leading to this event and testing. But if you're showing up now for the first time tonight or for your second year and haven't got much practice in, you're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, a lot of this is baptism by fire. We'll talk about this more as the race actually starts, but we're going to see a lot of through-line racing. And in my opinion, the outside lane is where you want to be. You can certainly survive on the inside lane. The middle lane, we're going to need at least 3 to 5 cars keeping you there, because if God forbid you're by yourself on the inside lane, you're just going to fall back through the field. If it's like 2, 3, 4 cars, you're still going to be getting the side draft from both lanes, and you're going to be falling down. And I think this car is probably the most, maybe not egregious or aggressive, but shows side draft the most on this service. Like, we're seeing this entire week that if you get beside somebody, you're slowing down, they're slowing down, anybody in front of you is going to pull away. So that's going to be huge here. I know we're taking the top 12, but that can easily turn into, us 3 by 3 by 3 by 3, and that's blocking off the rest of the field from getting the top 12. So I think track position is even more important than usual here at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, we've got in this session currently about 40 drivers going through, so we have 29 drivers going for 12 spots, which is, do the math on that. That's 17 drivers going home. So it's going to be tough. It's a tough field. Some of the largest talented drivers in this series, or in the service, racing for 12 spots. So it's always cutthroat at the end, and it's always an exciting watch as we head for 30 laps here, or 40 laps, sorry, of racing here in heat number 1, as they just now begin qualifying.
Yeah, as we start qualifying last night, we did see Parker just absolutely whoop the field and take the pole position. But I think the game even starts here because we do have to have a green flag pit stop, and that's probably going to be anywhere from lap 22 to 24. I think we're probably going to see it around 23. I think some guys will stretch 24. I know in the chat earlier they were saying 22, but when you look back at the last couple duels or the last couple heats we've had in previous years, they normally go a lap or 2 laps later than what they normally think they're going to do in the race. But starting here, do you intentionally kind of how, like, if you know you're not going to get the pole here, because there's going to be some guys that, you know, as I said, this is the first time in this car, you're not going to get the pole for this heat race. Do you intentionally try and get a better pit stall, or do you just, like, go for it and then just end up starting 12 here? Like, if you know you're going to start mid-pack or something, is it better to just not take a queue time or be slow just so you have an easier entry into pit lane?
I think, honestly, I mean, I'd rather be further up in the pit entry. That way just more people peeled off before I have to go to my stall. And also, like, I don't want to start in the back of the field. As we see Nate abort this run. Standard iRacing format for qualifying here, so you get 1 lap. So as long as he hasn't taken the green and can get back around in time, he'll be fine to start another lap. He didn't like his exit he got there. Unlike last night where it was 1 and done qualifying, single car runs of everyone watching, tonight you can actually go ahead and reset if you don't like your exit. But yeah, back to your question, Cruz. My philosophy was similar to the Dale Jr. kind of Dale Earnhardt philosophy, where I want to lead every lap. I don't ever want to be riding. I don't ever want to just be sitting back waiting, because every time I've ever done that, I've wrecked. And it's never, you know, your own fault usually. You know, usually something happens around you and you crash. And I'd much rather crash racing for the lead than I would racing for 12th. So my strategy is always just be up front as much as possible, whether that be second pushing and trying to save a little bit of fuel, or just leading the pack and burning that fuel. I don't want to come from the back. I don't want to come from mid-pack. I want to be up there the whole race.
Yeah, certainly. I completely understand being up there or wanting to be up there for the whole race. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I think a lot of these guys are thinking they're going to qualify better. Certainly, if you were here last night, you saw guys who, you know, expected to run faster, guys who wanted to run faster, just, you know, got beat with how difficult this setup is. That's the main reason why I asked you. If, like, even Logan Kress, for example, a pole winner, a winner of this event, like, he qualified 5th. You know, that's still tough here. At least right now he's starting on row 3. Like, yeah, like that can very easily push him back to like 9th, 8th, whatever may happen if somebody jumps up or below him here. I mean, I think the front row is premium, and past that, I think you kind of have to play like 40 chess and kind of playing a lot deeper, at least in my opinion.
I see what you're saying. But still, even if I don't qualify up front, I'd rather qualify mid-pack than last and start in the back. I'd rather have less cars to move forward or have to move forward around. Because, I mean, it's just not a race where you ride, really, because it's only 40 laps. And everyone is conscious of the fact that they need to get to that spot 12. It's kind of like one of those races where, you know, in real life, it's, you know, the rain's approaching and they're racing towards the red flag. So really, I don't want to be behind anybody who is, you know, obviously trying to get ahead of me. So I think the best bet is to always start further forward and try to maintain track position versus trying to gain it back from the back.
No, I completely got you there. And you mentioned, you know, it's only 40 laps. Realistically, the way that I view these heats is it's 25 laps, because anything can happen at the end. We're most likely going to have it end under a green white checkered. I don't want that to happen, but with all the pressure and everything going on, it's most likely that we're going to probably have like back-to-back 3 lap restarts to end this. And so realistically, the last 10 laps of this race, like if we have a yellow on like lap 11, you know, that pushes you into like another restart, we wreck, that pushes you into overtime, like yada yada yada. So realistically, I think there's like 25 good green laps to try and get up through the field, and then you have your green flag pit stop if we get that green flag pit stop in. And so, like, I think there's even less laps available than just the 40 to get through the field. I really think you have to work with like the 20-25 potential green flag laps we have here.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I say, you know, I'd rather not have to be in the back for those laps, right? I'd rather, I mean, it's not fun to start 15th and be in the middle of that chaos immediately, but also it's less fun to be starting 30th and having to work your way forward. Even if it is usually guys who don't qualify who are very talented, I'd rather be ahead of them and be able to take their runs when they get to me. If I can't make momentum on my own, then have to be behind them and, you know, losing 5 spots a day. But say you're behind, you know, someone who doesn't qualify, say a group of like Logan Kress and them don't qualify and they line up 5 cars and they march away to the front, you're still behind 5 more cars. So you're now P6 fighting the rest of the field versus say you're P2 or P3 in that line, you know? So I'd rather just take all the positions I can get whenever I can and deal with the consequences that come later.
I don't know, man. You know, one last thing before we go to the grid right fast is I personally believe we see a lot of the wrecks come from the front in this race. That's just where I'm at. I don't think we're going to see a lot of like mid-pack. I mean, I'm sure we're going to have mid-pack at like 12th or whatever wreck in there, but I think the real issue points are going to come from checkups that are starting up front that could potentially take out like the second and third rows. So that's kind of why I was like, man, maybe it is just better to get the better pit stall, survive the first crash, and then go through the field.
But at the same time, you know, I'd rather be avoiding cars wrecking, you know, from 5th ahead of me than from 15th when I have that entire pack ahead of me wrecking and people behind me plowing it.
got you. We're going like a married couple. Like, I don't think we're going to come to an agreement on this. I feel like we're too drastically
We've been
different.
saved by the starting grid.
Yeah, here we are.
Starting up front will be Nick Doucette in number 51 Chevrolet. Beside him will be Gabriel Mauricio in number 40 Ford. I almost said Dodge again. On the row number 2, we've got Sean Butler in the 96 machine. Alongside him is his effective teammate with the exact same lap time, actually, Nate Stewart in the number 4 car.
Mo Perry's going to be starting 5th. Right beside him, Michael Sturgill. Your past Winstel 400 winner Logan Kress going to be rolling off in 7th. Jackson Sims in 8th. Alex Bates in 9th. And Jonathan Hernandez is going to round out your top 10 here.
We head back to row 6. We got Christian Budd and Aaron Smith in the number 70 machine. Row 7, has Andrew Cootie in the 9 car and the number 60 of Tristan Baker. Row number 8 gives us Austin Reedy and Ben Bafford. Row number 9 gives us Roger Saucier and Rocky Boyd in the number 16 machine. And rounding out row 10 gives us Jeffrey McClintock and Chris Champeau, 2 Winstel regulars.
And Julian Valadez and Olivia Hayward is going to be side by side for row 11. As we look at row number 12, it's James Bowles. As the field starts to roll off, we have Josh Burnett in his number 73 machine. On row 13, we have Jeremy B. Davis in the 64 and Spencer Owens in his number 24 machine. We got Dean Doucette showing that we can spell Doucette multiple ways, starting in the inside row of the 14, or inside of the 14th row, and Andrew Kobach going to be rounding out that one. Round out row 15, your last place starter is going to be Ken Huff in his trademark black 55 machine.
That rounds out our starting grid for the Winstel 400 heat number 1. Very star-studded lineup. Again, a lot of that powerhouse talent electing to qualify, electing to start up front. Our favorites really transferred and do well. Sean Butler is always a favorite when it comes to Winstel 400 time. Always up front, always a challenge. Very much look forward to seeing him and Nate probably work together to make their way through this one. 2 Winstel drivers, 2nd and 3rd last year in Winstel 2003 season points, Nick Doucette and Gabriel Mauricio. I look to see them working together for this race as they lead off the front row here as we head down the back straight over for the final time before we get green for 40 laps of racing.
Yeah,
we're still regular. Olivia Hayward on board of her in the Mermaids machine. Look for her to really have to work her way forward here. You know, plate racing is really not her specialty. She's starting pretty far in the back. So she's going to be trying to be desperately getting up to that 12th spot and hang on the position. And hopefully find some teammates and some friends to really help her stay in touch there as we head through this 40-lap event.
I was going to say really fast, I think you're going to have to absolutely work as teams with either your friends or people that you've just been racing against. I think people who are just kind of solo in this event are at a huge disadvantage. They either have to show that they know what they're doing, or just hop on a train that's already going through that's made by people like for example, you're mentioning Butler and Stewart as the pace car is about to jump off. I expect them to be working together as soon as they can here.
As we head down to the green flag, head through the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. Nick Doucette leads us to the first heat, the first on-track racing action for the Winstel 400 weekend as we head through turn number to the tri-oval to complete the green flag.
Yet again, I'm going to be wanting to watch that 12th place position. That is the transfer cutoff right now. That is going to be held by Christian Budd. We haven't seen anybody jump to the 3rd line. I think we're probably going to start seeing that at least down this back straightaway. The back half of the field is kind of spread out a little bit. We're probably going to see an accordion effect because on the restart, like center through the field, they kind of had a bad start there. Jonathan Hernandez trying to just get some air, look and see if he wants to go to the middle or just stay where he's at. Right in front of, or right behind him is Aaron Smith and Alex Bates to his inside.
Yeah, interesting to see how these lines start to develop. In the test races we had so far, the inside line has really struggled to really hold together on restarts, but it looks like the outside line wasn't super organized this time as they complete lap number 1 and thunder past our finish line here. Inside line of Nick Doucette, followed by Sean Butler, has really kept up well. They've only fallen back about 1 row. So look to start seeing these guys, probably be a little bit patient this first couple laps, kind of get their feet under them, but once they get comfortable, they're going to start making moves. As we see the leader, Gabe Mauricio, really ride him up there against that fence and get that high line rolling.
One thing you can see right now, your inside lane kind of checking up, but kind of squiggling all over the place, and that is now going back through Cody. Jeff McClintock has to check up there. Olivia Hayward had to go 3 wide. Like, that was just, as I said, it started up front. Literally the first car on the inside lane caused a checkup all the way back to like 13th in that row. We're just going to see a lot of that. We're already seeing a lot of guys be very nervous about pushing. We've already seen guys get super sideways in the back half of the field right now, and I think the intensity is just going to pick up from here.
absolutely. I mean, these guys are just absolutely having to, they're all keeping tabs on where that 12th place spot is. They're all very aware of where they are relative to that spot. So people in that, 12th place spot, 11th, 10th area, they're not comfortable. They're trying to push forward. People on the bottom, who are kind of starting to fall back right now, they're really aware of that. They're going to push forward to see the first person to make it 3 wide there. Who is that in the Caterpillar machine going up the middle, followed by the number 23 car. Starting to make some ground up there in the middle.
Yeah, Jeremy Davis had been trying to make that move on Olivia for a few laps now, as we see another move to the middle lane, and then he goes back to the inside. That is the 50 car, Christian Budd. He gets shoved from the back. He's going to roll up right behind Alex Bates. I mean, we are seeing movement like crazy right now. These cars are very unstable. You have to push center or center right. If you push left, it's going to get them sideways, and if you are not squared when you make contact with those bumpers, you're going to send the driver in front of you either up or down the track, and we're already seeing that quite a lot in this fit pack.
Yeah, as you right up with Jeremy Davis here, that telemetry on that cat machine. Look how fast he starts going down this back straightaway. 205 has big check up there, as we talked about, all the way from 205 to 198 in about a split second as he had to hop on the brakes there to keep from running over Olivia Haler ahead of him. We're going to keep seeing that, and that's how these inside lines start surging. The outside line is fast if you're the front 5 or 6 cars, but you get such big runs on there that you have to really check up and roll out of the throttle. No one's, if you're in that outside line, you're really not full throttle. See Rocky Boyd putting the throttle there. One between 200 and 198 or so, really just being patient, having to roll to the throttle there, running over the guys ahead of him. So you see, still looks like a pace lap out here with the front 4, or front whole field side by side, and the front 2 lined up side by side here, even as Nick said, his clawbacks are lined on the inside.
Yeah, we have, basically the entire field starting running right where they started. We had Jeremy Davis. At this point, he's passed 4 cars for position, and then he's given up all those away. He hasn't made any move up through the entire grid. The entire grid so far hasn't moved.
We have, Sean tried to get up in front of Gabe there and was just not clear. And the check, he's got a car around it. Jeremy Davis in the back. That's it. It's going to be a yellow. That started in the very first spot and followed its way, according all the way back to Jeremy Davis in the back of the field. And just amazing job by all these drivers not to cause a bigger wreck than that, but you saw that coming as soon as Butler moved up off the bottom trying to get ahead of Gabe there on the outside. He was not clear. He got pulled back on the right rear and had to jump back out of the line, and that caused massive check as we see Bryce Saucier was the first car sideways. I believe he got hit by Clintock there as we get a replay here.
Yeah,
so we're going to see here this progresses.
Look at the checkups that these guys have to deal with here. I mean, this is going to be massive damage for multiple of these cars.
Sean tried to move up ahead of Gabe, and he got kind of checked up there and had to fall back in line. And that, boom, second place line on the bottom, check up. You see them all stacking up here. Bates going to have to jump on the brakes here. Crest is going to have to stop to not run over Mo Perry. You see, again, with these big spoilers you can't see, Bryce is the first car to make heavy contact, and then he gets hit there by McClintock, and then Davis cannot slow down and gets in the back of McClintock there. Great saves from all these guys ahead of him. More contact in the back, but I don't think anyone really got any major damage. It just got Jeremy sideways, and he did a great job holding onto it there. Locks it down, barely gets at it, avoids that inside wall. I see a little bit of nose damage, but that does not look too consequential for him here. So should see some guys on pit road here probably fixing a little bit of damage, topping off of fuel, but for our first wreck of Speed Weeks, that was pretty minor, all things considered, how that could have been if we would have wrecked in the front of the field. So great job by all these drivers to really hold it together there and keep it relatively clean there as we kind of head to our first yellow. Let's see who takes fuel and tires here.
Yeah, we got a lot of the field coming down. I'm not trying to be as confrontational, but the reason I view that as it's pretty substantial damage for at least 3 of those cars there is that means you can't lead, like, up to the front. You can push all you want, but, like, if you jump out to make a move, like Jeffrey, for example, like, that's pretty significant damage. That's going to certainly hinder him as being the lead car trying to make positions.
Yeah, I mean, that's, obviously going to be something that I think for the most part, I don't think it'll be too much damage to get fixed on pit road. A lot of times I see that be less than a minute of damage of optional to where it fixes the car. So I think he'll be okay. I don't think it's going to be that major of a deal, especially with how this drafting package is so intense and so insane. We've seen cars this Speed Weeks who have been destroyed go out there and lead laps and have good finishes. So I'm not too concerned for him, other than the fact that obviously, like we said earlier, back in that pack, you're not safe. You're always having to be aggressive, and he got turned off an accordion that happened all the way up to the front. So then 30 cars back, they're checking up and wrecking each other because you can't react that fast with these cars. So another reason to be up front and to be out there that entire time.
I think that was a great indication to nearly everybody. I mean, we're halfway through lap 7 here. Nobody was able to make really any movement. Now, we didn't see, huge changes for 3 wide, but Jeremy Davis was certainly making moves, and he wasn't able to do anything, and he was the last car in line there and got caught up in that wreck. Do you think we actually do see 3 wide racing, like, when this restart happens? I'm pretty disappointed we didn't see it at the start. I thought these guys would certainly realize, especially if you're, like, 14th, that, like, we need to actually start moving. Like, it's not going to work just sitting in line.
I think a lot of people try to wait for that first pit stop, but I think now we're within 10 laps of being in that window. So I think, again, now we have less fuel to take. We have a lot of people on fresh tires, on full fuel loads, so different strategies here. So I think we'll see some people try to work their way forward and really be more aggressive now that this field's going to get shuffled. A lot of the guys who are up front there are now going to be in the back because they took fuel there and they can sacrifice some track positions. And they're going to be trying to get ahead of those guys who got around them by staying out. So we see Nick Doucette choose the inside line again on this restart. As we line up again, pretty much identical to how we started this race. We got Nick and Gabe, and we got Nate Stewart, and we got Sean Butler down there in the first 2 rows. Pretty much identical to the way we rolled off to start this 40-lap race.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have to worry about it, but if this race does go green, it's certainly going to be interesting. Those that did not pit, this probably extends it at least a lap and a half, so we'd probably see that group of drivers looking to pit around lap 25, 26. The drivers that just pitted right now, if this goes green, we're going to be looking at them taking a green flag pit stop with around 8 laps to go if it goes green. So, like, that's going to be huge as well.
Yeah, I mean, those extra couple laps you can go really can shake things out. If it comes down to it, get a couple more cautions, that could mean that you are good on fuel and they aren't. And that's not a fun spot to be in if you're up front and you know that, people 10th on back are now good on fuel, because it's happened several times where, you pit on lap 6 or 7. It used to be called the Bobby Gerhart strategy. Bobby Gerhart used to be famous for this in the ARCA races at Daytona, where he would get a caution lap 6 or 7 and pit and think, why is he going back there? But he'd have enough fuel to finish the race out and come out through the end and just pull off that little lucky break on the strategy. So probably a lot of guys back there trying to do that, trying to hope for another couple of cautions that they aren't in, and try to make it on fuel from here.
Yeah, as we currently look at the transfer position being held by Tristan Baker in his 60 machine, that is going to be the area of contention when we do end up going green here, as the field is going to start exiting turn 4, heading back into the restart zone.
Lights are off on the pace truck, and Gabe and Nick both getting ready for this green flag. As always, in Winstel competition, the green flag control to start. It is not leader's choice, so they are at the mercy of the flagman whenever he wants to throw this green flag. Green flag is back in the air. Nick Doucette stomps on the gas. Very even start this time. It looks like Sean will be the first to get to the bumper on the bottom there, as both lines are pretty organized here as we head off on the turn number 1.
Yeah, forgive me if I'm not looking much at the leaders right now. I'm looking at, we had it happen again. Like, just look on your screen. We're having huge checkups on these restarts. I don't know if it's people rolling in to the restart zone. I'm not sure what it is, but we have seen massive checkups as we see cars already shifting for the lead in positions here as Sean Butler jumps to the outside lane in front of Gabe as Nicholas goes to the bottom.
This will really shake things up from what we saw the first couple laps, because this is the first time we haven't had the pairing of Gabe and Nate and Nick and Sean leading the field in the first 2 rows. Now we got Mo Perry pushing Nick Doucette on the bottom, and Gabe having to push Sean on the top side. So Sean completes that move he tried to make before the yellow, hops in front of Gabe, takes that outside line. We'll see how they advance here, if they can make ground up and leave that inside line, or if they are slow up there. We see cars kind of bouncing off the fence back there towards the back, trying to make moves and trying to get to the outside of people.
Yeah, it's all about keeping your momentum going here. This is a situation where you do not want to get out of the gas. Maybe drag the brake a little bit if you need to slow down, but if you get out of the gas and certainly lose that draft, I mean, you're going to have to hope for a yellow.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think there are many people who are going to be in danger of losing the draft. As long as you can have a couple, like 2 or 3 cars organized back there, you can usually make it back to the front of the pack, as long as they're running side by side and not single file out. See them aggressive with the side draft up there. Obviously, we are coming to 30 to go, which doesn't seem like a lot. We see onboard objectives, how bumpy this track is and how much the air bumpets around. His helmet really shaking here as he tries to find some air, try to find some room to run. Not looking satisfied with running in this spot that he's in now. Currently 7th last time by the stripe. He's safe on paper, but really not in practice. He's going to have people coming at him at all angles trying to really get around him here.
While we were on that onboard, Nate Stewart and Sean Butler jumped to the inside lane. They're now back up to the outside with Nicholas Doucette behind him. It is Mo Perry and Logan Kress, your two cars on the inside lane, followed by Alex Bates. We're seeing that these guys are getting more and more aggressive. We're seeing the inside lane also dying off. I said this in the pre-race that if there's enough cars in the outside lane, you're going to have guys just jumping up there, abandoning the inside lane, and you're just going to have to work even harder on the inside to try and get there. You're going to have to either side draft the outside lane more or just start pushing a lot harder and risk blowing your motor.
Yeah, but as we say that, it looks like Logan Kress and Mo Perry starting to drag that ground back. They're starting to make their way back up there, and it looks like we got, obviously there's a percentage or preference for the outside line, but inside line, if you still have cars that are organized and being smart about it, you can really work your way up there. And I think a lot of what we see is people hop out to the outside lane and they just push for 2 or 3 laps straight and they get a big run out there, but then they get their motor too hot and they can't really sustain that and they have to back off, and it lets that inside line reflourish again.
Yeah, we're racing like 3 wide in the back of the field. Let's say, I'm going to put you in the seat of Anthony Krobach right now. He's in 19th. You're on the outside lane. You got cars behind you, cars on your inside. What are you thinking right now as the leaders started kind of another checkup on this outside lane? What do you do if you're Andrew here? Like, are you going to just go to the inside whenever you have momentum? Or are you talking to Olivia Hayward behind you like, hey, you want to work together at some point? Do we want to try and get to the outside lane? What are you doing here if you're in the 18th position right now?
Oh, I'm trying to find all my friends and where I can find them. I'd be looking at the inside there. I see Jeffrey McClintock back behind me. I see Olivia behind me. I'm saying, hey, let's get organized. Let's run. And then I'm going to drag my brake a little bit back here and get that run on this car ahead of me. And I'm just going to dive to the middle. You can't make spots if you're behind somebody in this line. You have got to find something else to do. What you're doing now is not working. You can't wait for the inside line to decay and fall backwards. You have to make your spots now. You see 22nd right now. If you can make it work with Anthony and get, 5-10 spots and then slide back in line, you are 5-10 spots better. But I think I was in the duels last year. I was in the second chance qualifier last year. And, I got put in the back. So I was working my way forward the entire time.
Yeah, so for us, the lap counter goes lap 14. Right now, everything you were saying before we took the green flag about qualifying, when to have the lap or when to have the track position is what is going on right now. There has been no passing at all, which we have not really seen in previous heat races. As Mo Perry, is slowly gaining on the leader here, but we just haven't seen a lot of riding like this, and I'm actually quite shocked.
I think a lot of it is the fact that the guys that we said were going to be teaming up and organized are at the front, and they're trying to keep those lines together. You got the Logan Kresses, the Nate Stewarts, the Sean Butlers, the Gabes, the Nicks. They're all up there, really controlling the field. So if you're back here and you don't have friends, you're kind of as a solo entry, you have got to find somebody to work with and, get on the horn and say, hey, let's make a move. Let's do something. Let's try to make something work. Because right now, riding here, back here like Owens is, and I'm assuming he's waiting for a crash, but, if you don't get it or you're in that crash, that entire strategy is out the window. You've got to start making a move forward now.
Yeah, at this point, I think you guys start panicking, at least if you're outside the top 18 here, because we're just seeing that, like, you're just not going to be able to fly through the field like we have in previous years.
I don't think you really need to panic. I think you just need to be making those moves now. You can't wait and say, okay, I'm going to be patient, wait until 5 to go, because everybody at 5 to go is trying to make those moves. You need to be the first person who makes a move to make a move work, realistically. Run on board here with Mo Perry, leading inside line here. You see these the stats on the bottom: lowest 8th, third and 5th, currently 3rd, highest 3rd. These guys aren't moving around a lot. They're up here. The people who are really fighting, and the highest talented drivers, the people who you see as the highest prowess in these plate tracks, they know what they're doing and they're working with their friends, so they're not going to be falling back very far. So if you are someone 10th on back, you're contending with people who know what they're doing and who are up here for a reason. So you've got to really be methodical and work your way up early versus trying to come in at the very end when everyone's trying to come up with you.
We got Jeremy B. Davis once again trying to get an inside lane working. He's being pushed by the 211 of Julian Valadez as they're racing for 24th right now. Almost slight contact between we almost had a wreck yet again involving Jeremy B. Davis there. He's the only one out of the entire field, the only guy that I've seen go to the middle lane on purpose, and it has not worked for him at all.
I would watch for Jeffrey there in the 78 car to probably be the one, if anyone does organize with Jeremy, to probably be the one to do it. He's another Winstel regular, very good at these plate races, and usually pretty aggressive. So I expect to see him be making some big moves here soon to start moving forward and kind of work his way back to the front where he believes he belongs.
just watching these cars fly around Daytona just in unison. Everybody's in their train that they want to be in, the inside and the outside lane. Nobody's poking it.
As we see Davis again poke to the outside and get himself in the wall there, trying to be aggressive, trying to get to the outside of the 023 machine there ahead of him. Again, Davis is the only car we've really seen be this aggressive as of so far. An important note as we head over to lap 18 and lap 19 here, we are into that fuel window where if we stop now, we get a yellow now, you can make it on fuel. So at this point now, you've got to really think about that and making sure, you're not going to be saved by stops with a caution here. You're going to have to really race it out here and try to get yourself in a good spot as we head into lap number 19.
One thing that is keeping the pack together, like for example, when they entered turn 3, and even here as they're entering turn 1, although the speed isn't nearly as different, the leaders were doing like 201, 203 entering turn 3. But we had Andrew, Cootie, and other guys in the back, they entered turn 3 doing 210. Like, if anything happens up front, not even a wreck, a checkup, somebody, gets in the wall or whatever, like, that's why we saw just a huge checkup bringing up that yellow earlier, and why the impacts are so huge is, as I say this, Andrew throwing it to the outside lane, trying to make something happen in that 9 car. The 211, once again, following the guy making a move.
Yeah, the Andrew Cootie, they're making a good move there to put Anthony Krobach in the middle, and that's going to cost Anthony a lot there. He's going to lose 4 or 5 spots there and really get shuffled back. Started this lap in 19th and is now P25 as they come across the line to complete lap number 19. Again, you're going to start seeing more of that. If you can get to someone's right rear, you can really pull them back, put them in that middle, and they have no help. And so you really got to start protecting your right rear if you're going to be making moves. Or, like you said earlier, these big runs are getting, front guys are going 200, you're going 210 in the back. Don't lift. Take that run somewhere. Make it happen. We'll see Ben try to signal that move that I was talking about, but didn't commit to it. We'll see a bunch of moving around up front as well.
A lot of moving around up front. We're going to pass halfway this time by, and we do have pit stops coming up for those who did not pit under the last yellow, and probably about 5 to 6 laps from here. They have to get to the bottom lane. I assume that's what we saw Sean Butler and Stewart doing when they went from the top to the bottom here, so they can at least get to pit road whenever they need to do that. As we have now the inside lane being the dominant lane, as we kind of have not really fighting for positions, but I think people are trying to find ways to get to that bottom lane when they do have to pit.
Yeah, listen to the scanners too. I'm hearing a lot of chatter about tire wear. Cars not handling great. These daytime conditions, pretty early in the afternoon as we go on board off Logan Crest here, kind of right in line. Probably going to take this early pit stop, I'd assume. A lot of guys want to get this out of the way early and make sure that they have the cycle together to move forward on the green flag stops. If they come, maybe they might come this time, next time by, not sure. But a lot of drivers are complaining about tire wear. The car's not handling great, so expect to see some guys start having some issues with that. Maybe getting to the fence a little bit, maybe driving a little bit too hard, but you got to really be able to maneuver with the tires, and if that's the case, we might see guys take 2 tires here in these pit stops.
One thing I want to point out as we look towards Heat 2, the second chance, and LCQ right now, we have not been able to switch lanes at all. I know that sounds kind of dumb, but if you start on the outside lane on a restart, you have been stuck there. As we get ready for green flag pit stops, we do see people jumping in the bottom lane, but that's another huge thing. If you've been practicing on certain lanes, or if you feel comfortable in certain spots, and you end up not starting in a lane that you want to be in, it's been nearly impossible for you to get to that position.
Yeah, if everyone's going to commit to their line, you really don't have those big gaps develop. And if they do develop, they really don't last for long enough for you to comfortably jump up into them without causing an issue. We saw an issue, in the first couple laps of this race where Sean Butler hopped up in front of Nick Doucette and that whole close on him. Was one car in the fence back there almost caused that crash that we talked about. James Bowles got the fence in the turn number 1 and bounced off of it. It's going to lose all of his track position here and had to go 3 wide to avoid him.
Yeah, he's going to fall all the way back, probably outside the top 23. He was in 17th when that happened. We see Andrew throwing it outside line again.
I'm hearing a bunch of radio chatter about them starting to pit. We got hands out the window. We've got drivers calling pits. So expect to see the first round of pit stops here this time out of 4 as we see about half the field pull off into the pit lane here.
Aaron Smith making up a ton of gap on these guys in pit lane. He was the furthest on back to pit, and he is right on these guys. He was outside the top 15 when they went in, as we do see checkup, slight contact with Alex Bates and another car entering their pit stalls, but everything is good and clean so far.
Yeah, looked across at the NASCAR tower. Don't see any penalties. No one jumping up to put anybody on the board, but a close call for Alex Bates there as he had to go around the car to get to his stall. It might cost him there as he's going to lose some track position and hopefully be able to come out there and join back out in the draft. The first round of pit stops finishing up there.
And your second round going to start here. We have pretty much the entire field coming in, certainly your leaders. One car is staying out, that is Austin Reedy in the 11, but everybody else coming down pit lane, locking up their tires. Much more aggressive entries from this group of drivers. I feel like they felt like they had to gain more positions than the first ones, but yet again, everything pretty clean.
Big problems for Nate Stewart. I would look across at the booth. He is being posted for speeding on pit entry. We saw him being very aggressive there. He got a little bit too much, and he's going to have a black flag here on pit entry for speeding on onto the pit road. That's going to really kill his chances here. You know, you can't afford mistakes like that. And he was up front the entire time. Really didn't need to do that. Really needed to take it easy there and, you know, make sure not to do that. But now it's going to cost him a whole 40 seconds as he sits here so painfully on pit road. It takes so long. He's going to see the pack fly by him here and be lucky not to lose a lap. It looks like we have another car in the back who may have had a penalty as well. It's like number 23 of Anthony Krobach.
Hearing on the radios as we have the last drivers entering pit lane right now. Everybody else trying to get in either tandems or just trains to work together. The entire field is spread out right now. This is going to be very interesting to see who ends up getting the lead here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to really shake things up too, because remember, there was a group of about 10 cars who stopped in that first pit stop who had, you know, about 6 lap extra fuel. They all pitted at the same time, but that means that their pit stop would have been that little bit shorter overall. So they will probably cycle around on the front here as we see everything kind of shake up as we complete our green flag pit stops.
Yeah, even different strategies. There were some people who took 4 tires, there were some people who took 2 tires, and there are some people who just took fuel here, and so that even spread the fields out even more. As we see the main battle right now, way outside the top 15, as we get 3 wide and nearly wreck with with Nicholas Doucette and Ben Baffert out of turn 2 right now. Where are your leaders at? Pretty sure it's just Austin Reedy by himself in 3.
Yeah, so Austin Reedy stayed out another 2 laps. He's going to really win out on this. I thought staying out that extra lap would hurt him, but he got to have a really aggressive pit entry, and now I see Andrew Cootie in the 9 car, the first in the pack, catching him. He's going to lose that top spot as the pack's going to blow by him here with the draft, but if he can catch onto this 4-car tango with him, Jimmy Davis, and Gabe, and Sean, he can be in 5th spot here, be relatively safe, you know, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that. It's going to fall off the back of them. Now he's going to be swallowed up by that big pack behind him. So what could have been a really great move didn't really look out for him there. He's going to be struggling here if he can't catch up.
The only thing that Austin can do here is, I would argue, for him to just stay bottom and hope the entire field goes around him entering the corner. He can try and side drafting and hop in this lane here. Otherwise, he's going to get blown through and be knocked to the way outside the top 16 here.
Yeah, you know, we see the 6th place car on the track, Chris Champeau, leading that second group. Get a caution.
Yellow in 3 and 4 right now, involving Rocky Boyd and Josh Burnett in the 73 machine. Not sure what initiated that contact, but that looked like it was at the tail end of possibly the 2nd pack, or the 3rd pack even, as Josh is smoking entering the pit lane right now.
Yeah, we see both these wounded cars crawling their way forward. It looks like neither of them going to have to well. I say that John Burnett's going to have to pit here. Looks like he's got a meatball. He's got significant damage to that car. We do have one fast repair for this, so you aren't necessarily out of it, but it's going to put you to the back. It's going to put you in danger here. Look at a replay here. Yeah, it looks like really aggressive pushing him in that pack, and Rocky just kind of got him sideways there into turn number 3. Nothing he really did. You know, I mean, obviously that's on Rocky Boyd, but it wasn't malicious. He wasn't anything, you know, that he did wrong. It's just sometimes you push a little bit too aggressively and it goes bad. And it's right on board the number 16 of Rocky Boyd as he gets into the back of him here into turn number 3. Barely a little bit of offset or push, and just he gets under that apron. You try to avoid him, but then there's nothing you can really do. And he hits up the track hard than that safer barrier, and it takes 2 cars out of this race who really could have had a good shot if they could have caught that 2nd pack to really hop to the outside. But this shakes up everything now. We've got gonna have a restart here with about 10 to go. See Rocky Boyd officially gets the call from Buddy McGee. He was at fault for that, and because of that, he is disqualified from this race. He has to move on to the second chance race. If you cause a crash in these heats, you are done for the heat. You move on to the next round. So very consequential there for Rocky Boyd as he right on board with the. Oh, you see his hand. He saves it, and then bang, and then you know at this point your heart sinks and you're against the wall, and just hoping that you can use that fast fare and get back out there and really be a tough time getting back to the front.
lot of strong cars. I'm looking at the grid right now. A lot of guys who either start up front. Your pole sitter, Nicholas Doucette, who just got caught up in a bad pit cycle there, is outside the top 15. He's currently in 16th. We have Christian Budd, Jonathan Hernandez, Mo Perry is in your transfer spot right now. This is the only change in the field that we have had, and it was due to the pit stops. Under green, nothing has really changed, but with that pit stop, with how the yellow came out, we have had a huge cycle. Nearly everybody who is in the top 10 outside of Butler, outside of Gabriel, and Logan Kress have fallen outside the top 10.
Also, I want to point out, this is a huge break for guys like Nate Stewart and Olivia Hayward, who got penalties on that first round of cycles. Nate was able to stay on the lead lap there. He didn't get cycled back around to get lapped, so he is back on the tail in the lead lap. Olivia Hayward had just gotten lapped on the field there. She'll receive the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap, and they can now work their way back forward, but they have a lot ahead of them as they try to get into the transfer positions. Especially Nate, that's going to be so heartbreaking when, you've led most race. You've been, I don't think he was outside of the top 5 the entire time before the pit stops, and just a little bit too aggressive on the pit road, and now he's coming back from 26. And he's only going to have about 10 laps to do it. I don't think he'll have 10 laps on the green to do it. I really don't think we're going to see 10 green flag laps as we come to 11 to go, probably 1 to go here at the line.
For somebody who has to be right about stuff for my job, I've been incorrect at everything so far. But at least we're at the 10 laps left. I think we are going to probably see this race probably end with a green-white checkered. So at this point, you're just going to have to take any momentum that you have. We saw Andrew do that right before the pit stops happened. Whereas at 3 other points in this race, we've seen people lift, we've seen people, give room and everything. Andrew was the first guy who didn't do any of that, jumped to the outside lane, tried to gain positions before everybody went down pit lane. Now everybody has to do that. I don't think there's really going to be any lifting at this point, especially if you're well outside the transfer spot.
See the number 9 car, Andrew Cootie, hops the outside as his lane choice, take the outside line in front of game ratio. I think that's a great idea. One thing to point out, we talked about Jeremy Davis a lot, that number 64 Caterpillar machine. He was in the back, couldn't make his way forward, but he, I believe, took fuel on that first caution and was able to cycle through, take less fuel than these leaders, and he is now up in 3rd. Great recovery from him. Great job getting track position to that green flag pit cycle. And like I said, Cruz, we're like weathermen. We don't get paid to be correct. We get paid to be confident. So as long as you say it with confidence, we are doing our jobs right.
Okay, all right. I appreciate that easy out. I like that card. I'll just pull that the next time I forget to pay my taxes and stuff like that.
Happens to the best of us sometimes, Cruz.
Yeah, it does. Paul Stanley from KISS, another guy who failed to pay taxes way back in the 70s. So we get another boomer reference here as we have the field coming down. This is it. I mean, this is going to be absolutely insane. I do want to say that Butler has probably been the most comfortable up front. He's led both lanes. He's been pushed by numerous people. Jeremy B. Davis is now in the 3rd position, a man who was involved in the first wreck, a man who was the most aggressive earlier in the race. He's now in 3rd. But outside of that, I can't really see any storylines of outside of just we need to get to the transfer spot from anybody.
That's the thing, too, is that, we talk about this every year, but guys like Butler, Gabe, they've been up front the entire race. Everyone is working together. They all know each other. Nate, guys like Jeremy have not been up here yet, and they're not going to be the first choice when it comes to making a move. You're going to make a move with people and you can trust. As we come down, the pace truck off, as we come down to take 10 to go in this first heat for the Winstel 400.
The field, especially the outside lane, really, really sloppy restart there. We have a lot of holes in the outside lane. Your lone leader on the outside lane, Andrew, is just by himself. Nobody's been pushing him. Gabe hasn't been with him yet. Right now, the inside lane is more together than the outside lane as we look through the pack, as we have 3 wide already, with Jackson Sims make it 3 wide for the 18th position as things are already heating up here.
Yeah, someone could push the apron there. That's going to be unfortunate for him, as he probably will not be able to make it back in time. Probably going to lose the draft for doing that. But see, game ratio, 2nd on this outside line, helping Andrew Cootie move forward. I think I saw Sean have a chance to hop out to the outside lane, but he's going to stay on the inside, pushed by Jeremy B. Davis. And I believe he has Nate Stewart down there as de facto teammate in 3rd on the inside line. So I expect to see him try to lead that and try to help his teammates. So we see Andrew Cootie lead the field to 9 to go in the CCH Motorsports machine.
That's actually Austin Reedy, third in the inside lane. Nate Stewart is still making it 3 wide. He's making up positions, though. He is being aggressive. He is now the new Jeremy B. Davis. He's the one forced into the inside lane. He's the one trying to make up positions, and he's currently doing it. I think he might be scaring people just because they haven't been made 3 wide yet, but he's the one guy making positions right now. As you look on your screen, we have multiple cars on that third lane trying to make it work.
We head around now to out of turn number 4, coming to 8 to go. Bunch of guys in the back, obviously now having to be aggressive. See, in the back too, of note, Jeremy McClintock and Olivia Hayward have lost this draft, and they're going to be praying for a caution, as the field's still mostly 2 wide to come through to take 8 to go.
Yeah, Michael Sturgill in the 12th position that time by, but Nicholas Doucette, Mo Perry, Bates, Christian Budd, those on the outside looking in right now. Ben Baffert, Jonathan Hernandez are the guys who have been swapping the 11th and 12th and 13th since the restart has happened. That's where we're going to see things happen. As it happens right now, we have the outside lane with Ben most likely to be pushed by Michael. The 18 machine of Roger might not get help. He's at a risk of being thrown to the back of the field just because nobody's going to save him. But right as I say that, Mo Perry jumps to the inside lane. This is for your transfer spot.
We get a car sideways. They're checking up big on the bottom.
Huge checkup. That's
what a
hurting.
save by Jonathan Hernandez off of turn number 4. That shovels the field so massively. What an incredible job by all these drivers to keep it straight, but that is going to completely change the chemistry of this field. It's going to throw a complete match in this fire. We're about to see an explosion of racing here as we head to 7 to go.
Those guys are looking for a yellow. Those that just had to check up there. We see a huge change in transfer positions here. That really killed the inside lane. We see a checkup on the outside, and this is just, as I said, guys really aren't lifting at this point. You've taken any run you can get, and it's going to get crazy here.
Well, no, that's exactly what caused that last checkup, that last almost crash, was the guys on the inside just did not check up, and you can't, So all of a sudden they had this little accordion, little bump, and then all of a sudden one car is sideways. They have to really jump out of the line to keep from destroying each other. And so now we take 6 to go here. We are once again back to this little 2 wide formation. We're going to have to start seeing guys be aggressive again. Probably look to see Jonathan Hernandez and those guys who suffered from that first little incident there be aggressive to work way back forward,
And one thing that might not be significant, but John Butler does keep changing lanes up top. That keeps causing accordion effects on both lanes. And we see another move by Ben to the outside lane. He's yet again being followed by Michael Sturgill. He's making up a position. The car trapped in the middle right now is Chris Champeau. Nobody is helping him. Unlike the last guy, he's going to fall out your top 12. And he was in the transfer position right before this. Now he's way out of it.
We are starting to see Nate Stewart go falling behind them. They're going to probably try to make a move up the inside, up the middle here. It looks like Gabe is going to be put in the middle there. Can he find a spot in the bottom? No! Gabe Mauricio, who has been up front the entire race, one of the leaders this entire time, is now in danger of not being inside that top 12. Completely shaking things up as we go single file on the bottom, led by Sean Butler. We did not expect to see this at all coming into this. We expected it to be the outside line that would dominate. We saw the inside line struggle earlier, but now Sean
Aaron
Butler
Smith sideways. No yellow is out, but he is spinning in the bus stop in the grass. He's going to make contact with the inside lane. The yellow is going to come out.
Oh, what a 5 laps of racing there. Oh my God. I cannot believe they only wrecked 1 car and all of that. That was insane for an entire 5 laps. And now we have an entirely shaken up field compared to what we had 10 laps or 5 laps ago in this restart.
Yeah, this just means the second heat's going to be the crazy one. What really happened here with Aaron Smith was pushing the pusher situation. Aaron Smith was in the middle between, or inside lane in between the middle of James and Spencer Owens, as we get a replay up on your screen here.
Look from high above the Daytona International Speedway. It looks like, yeah, he's behind the number 85 machine of James Bowles. And I'm assuming there's going to be a little bit of a checkup here as he gets to the back of him. And I believe that 24 car is going to push him in there. And that meat in the sandwich does not do a great job of making your car steady. And he comes back across his nose and just gets turned there. Spencer R. Owens in the number 24 machine. Great job by Aaron, though, to keep it out of the field and just make this a single car accident as he slides wildly across this infield grass here at Daytona.
Yeah, able to slow the car down. That's insane. Made slight contact at the end of all this, but that could have been way worse. And he didn't bring it up into the field, which is the major thing to give credit to.
Yeah, major props to Aaron there. I mean, obviously he's going to have some left front damage. It should be fixable. but that could have been game over. He could have gotten, usually when you get turned to the left there, you go straight across it inside and into that wall heavily. Great job of hooking it back and not hooking into the field to kind of keep himself out of harm's way to go on board with him. great diagram from the back of James Bowles' car telling him not to push here, and I don't think Aaron meant to. He just got pushed into him. But you see the consequence of what happens when you push off center in these cars, as unfortunately Aaron Smith suffers the consequences of this crash here.
Yeah, well, here we are. I believe we're looking at a green and white checkered, or at least a 3 laps under green coming to the checkered flag. I'm not entirely sure here.
It'll probably go to a green white checkered, I believe. It looks like we're on 3 to go now, and the lights are still on the pace truck. So we're going to go overtime in this race. And again, guys up front, I'd imagine, were probably light on fuel there. So if you were aggressive on your fueling and you didn't take all the fuel you needed, you could be sweating now a little bit as we head into our one and only green white checkered, which, we should go over the rules for Winstel. When we take this green white checkered, it is what is known as the point of no return. Once this green flag comes out, we will not throw another flag. So they will race it to the checkered flag regardless of if they crash or wad it up or whatever. So you know that at this point now, if you have a faster pair, you're Aaron Smith, you take it. If you're in the back and you need tires and you're going to go for a move, you take it. Because this is the end of it. You have 2 more laps guaranteed, and whoever comes out the end of it is going to be our transitions. There's going to be no more yellows, green to the end.
Yeah, we mentioned coming up to the green white checkered here, there are currently 28 cars currently practicing right now, using what they've seen here in heat number 1, and at least for me, where I stand, I'm like, yeah, heat number 2 is probably going to be the crazy one. I don't know how we haven't destroyed more than the handful of cars that we had, and really everybody's going on. Nobody's really had major damage outside of possibly Jeffrey and some other guys in that first instance, but the entire field pretty much has clean cars. You just mentioned, if you're in the back, you have any damage, get that reset. Like there's not really any cars that's going to be hindering any certain lanes. We've seen that in the past to where somebody has damage, they're starting like 7th on the inside row, people are saying just pit, get out of the way. We don't have any of that here, and everybody's going to be at full strength when they take this green here.
He's going to take the 1 to go here. Our leader Sean Butler chooses the outside line, so he's going to abandon that bottom. Let's go through the top 12 here and tell you who's in currently. So currently our leader Sean Butler, our 2nd place Austin Reedy, or our 2nd place Andrew Cootie, sorry, and then 3rd place Austin Reedy, Logan Kress, Jimmy V. Davis, Roger Saucier, Bendy Bafford, Mo Perry, Michael Sturgill, Tristan Baker, Christian Budd, and 12th place Josh Burnett are the current transfer spots for this heat number 1. Everyone 12th on back or 13th on back is outside looking in. So guys like Gabe, Dean Doucette, Nate Stewart, Nick Doucette, they are outside looking in, and they're going to be very, very aggressive here as we hit the green flag in about 2 miles time.
Where do you think the 3 wide comes from? I think I think at least the first 4 rows try and keep it single file. I think we're just going to see 3 wide, certainly for the transfer position. That's going to cause most likely the leaders to kind of pull away, and I think we're really going to be fighting just for 12th and 11th. I think we're going to see just a hornet's nest of 3 wide racing just for those 2 positions here.
Well, I would have said Gabe and Nick if they were on the outside lane, and Nate Stewart, but Nate Stewart and Gabe are in the inside lane in 13th and 15th. The car I look for would be Nick Doucette in the 16th position to probably be very aggressive and try to force it 3 wide on the top. He's got that number 211 of Valadez, who's been very eager to go 3 wide behind him. I look to see them try to make it and maybe try to lay back here a small bit and get a run and get to the outside of the cars ahead of them to make those transfer spots. But I don't think we're going to see really guys on the bottom be able to make those 3 wide moves. It's going to have to come from people on the top, either ducking to the middle or trying to get to the people's right rear. But pace truck is off. Here we go. Green flag for the final time in heat number 1. 2 laps to go. We are racing back no matter what from this point on.
Yet again, massive car links on the outside lane, and everybody's going to kind of sandwich in right here as we already see push on the inside. James trying to make something happen in that 85. He's blocked as he goes in the middle. Now both lines are just side drafting. There is no middle lane. You have to go on the outside if you want to make positions here.
So we thunder off of turn number 2 here. Still, surprisingly, only 2 wide. I'd expect to see people be more aggressive here. As we see the first car again was Nick Doucette to the outside. as he starts to make up a little bit of ground, but then hops back in the line there as his run kind of stalled out.
Yeah, Nick was the one who made the move right now. He's throwing it back to the outside lane again. He's trying to make something happen. The 211 of Julian also right behind him. And now we're kind of just stuck blocking each other as we take the white flag here.
And sideways for Nick Doucette. He's in the wall. Christian Butt involved. Several cars involved in the back of the field. Who makes it through? It looks like the 12 cars in this eligible for the top 12 are still all in this pack. So this front pack is still racing. They still need to transfer the way in. Gabe and Nate are on the outside looking in, and they have to be aggressive here if they have a big run in the back straightaway.
Yeah, it's all but one car right now. It looks like Nate Stewart trying to bump Gabe out of the transfer position. Is the battle right here between the 4 and the 40. Nate Stewart has the draft on the outside lane. He's leaving Gabe in the dust right now. Nate is now throwing it to the outside lane. I don't think Gabe's going to be able to get to him.
But Gabe has a run here as they get sideways here. Jumps to the outside.
He may have got it. He didn't.
No. He missed out by 5/1000 of a second. He got the wall coming to the stripe, and that's what cost him. He was gonna have it on the number 73. Josh Burnett barely squeaks by in the 12th position to transfer through to the Winstel 400. So let's go over our transfers here. Sean Butler wins the race. Logan Kress finishes second. Andrew Cody third. Austin Reedy fourth. Roger Saucier fifth. Mo Perry, Jimmy B. Davis, Ben D. Bathard, Tristan Baker, Michael Sturgill, Nate S. Stewart, and Josh Burnett are the 12 who will transfer to the Winstel 400. As we see everybody on the screen now, they are out. They are into the second chance race. And how just gut-wrenching must it be for these guys who got so close? Gabe was inches away. Nick was making moves and got turned at the white flag. Just started first and is going to finish almost last in this race. What a topsy-turvy way to finish this race. Congratulations to those who made it, and oh my, are the people who missed out going to be having to battle their way through in the second chance and last chance qualifier.
That is a huge amount of the top 10 qualifiers in this race not even finishing the race in the top 15. That I got to go get ready for the next heat, but that was way more calm certainly up until the last lap than I certainly thought. I think we're going to see a lot more chaotic stuff happen in the second heat.
Absolutely. I mean, they've seen what they can do now. They've seen what they have to do, how things can shake out. As the drivers get out of their cars, they start approaching the booth here. First driver I see is going to be Andrew Cootie. Actually, Sean is here. Sean, you got a copy on us?
I do.
Good win. Once again, we thought we'd see you up front. Very comfortable up there in these Winstel events. How was the racing out there? It looked like you didn't have any real struggles staying up front the whole race.
Well, no, it was really fun. I mean, I was harping on, how fun the setup was last year in last year's race. Just like the racing was so smooth and, it just looked really realistic, and it was, for lack of a better term, easy to drive. But yeah, this felt similar. It felt a little, I guess the car doesn't like being pushed very much, depending on how hard you get hit. But other than that, it was a great time. You can run whatever lane you want to run and, manage the draft with the bubble or push in. So it was a blast. It's 2 years in a row, 2 fantastic setups, I would say.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We heard a bunch of drivers talk about the tire wear. Was that much of an issue for you out front?
It did get a little tight, at some point, depending on how you entered the corner. Like if you were behind somebody, like just slightly to the right of them, you would kind of get the dirty air and it would kind of push you high. I found that out early in the race. I was pushing. I forgot who I was pushing going into 3, but like I was just out of line a little bit, and the car kind of pushed up, and I almost just took out Mauricio and everybody else. So I figured that out early. But other than that, it was handling very well. But yeah, just like tires didn't really feel like they were that big of a deal. On restarts you can spin them, but other than that, it felt like they held up pretty well.
I was really surprised mid-race. I think it was that run with about 10 to go. You stayed on the bottom there. I didn't think that we'd see people really stick to the bottom and really pull the field on the bottom. We thought we'd see everyone go to the top side. How did that feel down there on the bottom?
It felt good, you could, like I was saying, you could really like manage the draft if you have someone, I guess, for lack of a better term, you're compatible with. I guess that's the thing now, if you could push somebody without everyone's internet flipping out on you. But if you had the right people around you, could definitely manage the lines. You guys saw me and Nate were kind of working together. Me and Logan Kress worked together at the end. He said he was going to push me all the way, so we were just focused on making the race, and we figured out that if you have the right pushers, you could manage the race easily and just control your own destiny, which I really like in that. So, but overall, it was a fantastic race for us up front. I'm just glad I was able to stay ahead of the carnage back there and survive and put the new paint scheme that Cosmignana Shoe whipped up last second into the show again. So it feels really good.
Awesome. Shut out before we send you back upstairs.
Well, obviously, all of you, for putting on the broadcast, ABN, you guys did a great job, with all the qualifying stuff. I watched that, and it was all really good coverage. So, and obviously, all of you for putting the broadcast on. It looks really good. Of course, Huffman Racing Radio Season 2 is coming out this year, so make sure to subscribe to that on all platforms to get your podcast for Huffman Racing Radio. Landon Huffman's crew, they hopped on board again for a big event, so shout out to them. And just can't wait to get this thing going. The Winstel 400's a fantastic race. Looking forward to it every year, and glad to be in the show once again.
Awesome. Thank you for showing up again, and we will see you on Sunday for the main event.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Down here with Logan Kress. Logan, you got a copy of it?
Yeah, I got you.
How did it feel out there? Finished second. Great job once again. I know that you weren't necessarily up front the entire time. How did it feel to work your way back to the pack there?
It was fun. This is actually the first time I raced on this setup. I missed all the practice sessions leading up to it, so it was interesting that the front tires wear off, something that I haven't really been used to. I sat like 7th the whole race, so I was kind of towards the front. I mean, do the same strategy as I did, I think, last year or the year before, where I'm not really racing for the win. Just kind of, as long as I'm above 12th, I'm satisfied. Went into that last restart there with Sean, I was actually happy he chose the outside. He really knows what he's doing on these super speedways. So we were kind of already on the same page without even saying much to each other. I was just gonna lay it to his bumper until we cross the start finish line after 2 laps and go on and live to dance for tomorrow.
Yeah, we heard a lot of drivers on the radio complaining about tires. How did you feel that really affected you during that mid-race kind of cycle there?
Yeah, when I was like 5 or 7 cars deep, or 3, 5, 7 cars deep on the inside, towards the end of that long run, you could start feeling it on entry to 1. But I think, only going, I think a run was like 20 laps. Like 25 at that early caution, so it didn't really play that much of a factor, but it's the same setup that we're rocking with tomorrow. So I think after a long run, you're definitely going to have to be either at least changing 2 tires, if not maybe changing 4, depending on how bad it gets. But no, it keeps you on your toes. It's something that you have to keep in the back of your mind. You can't just go out there and just kind of hammer the guy in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone you want to shout out before we send you back upstairs?
I'll do a shout out to Kevin King. Kind of runs the team. I know he's kind of has that in the back burner, but brought me in when I didn't really have a team, and honestly I didn't think Kevin liked me. So no, yeah, he's a great guy.
Awesome. Well, congrats on making it to the Sunday show, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
That was our second place finisher, Logan Kress, as we look towards Andrew Cootie. Andrew, you got a copy on us?
I do. What's up?
How did it feel to finish 3rd place out there? I know it was a tough race. I know that you had a really good pit strategy there, that mid-cycle. What were your thoughts there on that pit stop?
I was surprised I came out first. Yeah, no, I started pretty far back out into the pack. I didn't really have a good qualifying session, just like I didn't yesterday. I wasn't really worried about the front row per se. I was just more focused on getting into the race. But Yeah, no, that that setup is really nice. I did enjoy it. That was a lot of fun. But no, we had a really good car. It's we were really gridlocked in that first run, and I pitted on that first caution just to top off, maybe have a shorter pit stop the next time, and I did. So I came in. I think I started that lap where everyone pitted. I think I started at 18th, and I ended up coming out first. So, well, second, and then Austin. We passed Austin, but um, I enjoyed that race from start to finish. It was, it's really hard to find a good session, a good setup, and a good group of people to race with in these cars anymore. At least since we got the next gen. So I was enjoying that, and practice was a lot of fun. We were just all over the place, and the setup is really fun to work with. It's just pushing, and like Sean said, just finding the right people to push and the right spot to push in or to push on. And but no, I enjoyed that. We're in the race. We'll start, I think, what is it, I'll start fourth on the inside. So um I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. Hopefully we can take this Maconi setup shop Chevrolet CCH Camaro over to Victory Lane, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Great job on the pit strategy. Great job working your way forward there. Anyone else you want to shout out before we send you back upstairs?
Yeah, Ross Corlett, he spotted me the entire race, and he'll spot me hopefully tomorrow night. My fiance, Alexis, she just got her dress today, so we're getting married out here in April. But yeah, and then CCH Motorsports, Bryce Hamrick, Corey Cook, he's going to be in Duel 2, so root for him in the second Duel. He'll be in that 61, yeah, 61. And then Bryce Hamrick, I think I said him already, and Zachary Milano. All them are good friends and part of the team. So we're trying to make it a bigger team, and finally got Maconi on board, and we'll hopefully have a few victories with him this year. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Great job in your first heat, making it through the show. We will see you tomorrow night. And thanks for coming out.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for putting this on.
No problem. And with that, heat number 1 has finished off. We have our first 12 drivers transferred through to the Winstel Forum tomorrow. We are going to take a short break as we get prepared for heat number 2 here at Daytona. Hello again, and welcome back to Daytona National Speedway for the Winstel 400 second heat here. We are finishing up the final couple minutes of practice. Brendan McGee, our faithful league owner, is going through the drivers' meeting. All these guys getting ready for their second chance on the track. Interesting this time because obviously you've watched that first set. Cruz has gone back to his car. He's racing this heat, and we pulled up pole sitter Parker Alexander. Parker, how was spotting for that first heat?
Well, I tell you what, old Jeff, he didn't have a very good time of it. He didn't want to leave that bottom line, man. I tell you, he needed to get off that.
Here, me and Cruz.
We were talking.
We said he needed to leave that bottom and go up there with Jeremy. We expected him to be aggressive. You know, he's been around for all these pit parties and little test sessions we've thrown up all season long, and didn't really want to leave the bottom there. So
yeah, I'm gonna get with him before the second chance race, and we're gonna get him to the front. But besides that, like you said, pole sitter, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Didn't have the racing he won. Would have had to if I would have not done that, but it was nice to just sit there and watch that. Watched good racing up front, and got pretty hectic there towards about the transfer spot there towards the end. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this second heat. A lot of good drivers in this one. A lot of close friends in this one too, so we're going to be rooting for them, but going to try to stay non-partial here in the booth, but it's
tough to do. But
it's tough to do, yeah.
Parker, you said you were glad you didn't have to race in heat number one. If you were going to race in heat number one, what would be your strategy? I know Cruz said he wanted to start in the back and stay in the back until they could kind of thread up the field. What would you be doing?
I'd be going F-R-O-N-T to the front. Ain't no way I'm staying in that back. I've been in plenty of these before. I can tell you, staying in the back almost never works. Never.
I agreed. Cruz did not agree, and you know we saw guys like Jimmy B. Davis back there. They struggled to make their way forward. He got kind of bailed out there by the pit strategy and the caution. Goes way forward.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I've watched Cruz race enough in official. He stays in the back. He always finishes there. I tell you.
Well, maybe, hopefully, we'll see Cruz avoid some action and make his way forward, and maybe we'll be interviewing him in a little bit here. Same format as last race, 40 laps, one green white checkered, one fast repair. You will go about 20 to 25 laps on fuel, and it will be an all-out brawl from start to finish. I think. Parker, what do you think? You usually see one clean heat and one insane heat. How do you think this was going to play out?
Last race was pretty clean, so I don't know. We'll see. I do see some names in here that are usually pretty aggressive. So who knows?
Yeah, as we wrap out qualifying here, or wrap out practice, I should say, we are about to head into qualifying. See the sun a little bit lower in the sky this time. About a radar gun out here showing about 10 degrees cooler on track than it was for the end of last session. So should see a little bit more grip up action, a little bit more aggressive opportunities here with a little bit more aggressive field.
So as we head into qualifying here, as we wait here for another 5 minutes here, who do you think will get the pole here for this event? Howe?
I'd have said you if you were racing in it, but
oh, I don't know. I think that might have been a one and done.
I'm going to say I see our good friend Alex Kolnick in the session. He was really fast yesterday. Missed out barely. You got Jack M. Mace, another fast driver. Mm-hmm. So I can see those two probably put it up to or near the pole. As we
one driver we did not see in qualifying yesterday, I believe, but I think is one to keep an eye out on is Jacob Potak in that 66 machine. Jake, a very fast driver. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
Yeah,
another one I'm looking out for is that 22 machine of Jose Salas Jr. Always a threat to watch here. I don't know about restrictor plate racing, but always a threat to watch anytime you're in an official race with him, and anytime you're in a Winstel. Yeah, man, they know he's a threat. They know he's a threat. Anytime you see that 22 car on the track, that's a threat.
That is a threat on sight, isn't it?
Another one to look out for in the race is that 31 machine, Dylan Roberts here, as we see Jake Potak taking his lap here.
Yeah, this session's a very heavy Winstel session. Last race was a pretty heavy FTF session, but we got guys like Sean, Jose Salas Jr., Ryan Doucette, Dylan Roberts in this event. They're going to be very aggressive, very organized here, as long as Brandon Cruz Montevais, who will probably be a little bit less organized and a little bit more, you know.
Hey guys, I'm going to ride in the back!
Oh, man.
I don't know what to do with him, man.
I tried to push him to the front.
You tried?
Starting to see some lap times coming here on the boards. Jack M. Mace.
Hey,
currently
he
at the top
beat
of the charts.
me.
He beat you.
Somebody finally beat me this weekend, I tell you. Oh, look at this, Alex. There he goes. Top of the board for Alex Kolonix. I don't know if the viewers on sure. Oh, we got Cruz taking his lap. We'll see what his lap here is. What's it gonna be for Cruz? He's actually coming to take his lap. Yeah, he's starting his lap.
Cruz here. Let's put the pressure on Cruz again. Heads up through the famed trial. What
he didn't get high enough. He didn't get high enough there going into one. It's about to be the worst lap of all time.
Oh man, call it the woat. He heads on turn number 2 again, right around the bottom of the racetrack.
Right around that yellow line.
That was not what was fast yesterday in qualifying. Is currently Alex Kolonix on the pole provisionally. We still got another 2 minutes left qualifying, so in that time we still got about 10 cars left to put in a lap time. Very big threats that could still be coming forward for them.
One name interesting to see towards the back here, Dylan Roberts, currently P26, kind of a little bit of a stinker of a lap here. Maybe something happened to him here. We'll try to take a look.
As Cruz qualifies 16th on the charts. And we do have a new pole sitter, Milad Radman, late grabbing the pole there for 779. Pushes Alex Kolonix off the pole for now. We see Ryan Doucette, former Coke driver, longtime Winstel favorite of the Zoo Plates machine, coming off of turn number 4 here to complete his lap. Let's see what he can do on the board.
So I'm just gonna say something off the record here. How go take a look back at Dylan's lap here. Maybe take a look at him pulling out of the pits. Because I think I may know why he turned such a slow lap.
Let me see what our good friend Dylan did.
It looked like the nose of that car got damaged whenever he was coming out of the pit lane.
Well, how about that?
See if we can find it on the broadcast here. Coming out of pit lane, it hits a bump and that front end gets all scrunched up. I don't know if our viewers can see it. It's flattened out that front end.
That front splitter is not splitting the air as it should be. Excellent catch, Parker. They're gonna have to fix that damage before we head into the race. I guess they're gonna send some big guy out there to stomp on it there, but surprising too. I mean, you'd think that you know, Dylan, I think, was entering turn 3 at about 178 miles an hour. You know, you can reset these cars during qualifying practice, and you can go back out there and get another lap, and if you need to, see again a good close of that damage and the number 31 machine. So surprising that he didn't feel that damage and didn't reset the lap after that, but that's going to put Dylan pretty far back in the field, and he's going to have to work his way forward. He's going to head to the grid.
He will definitely be one to keep an eye on, though, as he's a very, very, very well-rounded restrictor plate racer. So he can definitely get his way back up there. It'll just be a matter of how fast he can do it, in my opinion.
I think the starting grid flash up here. I'm going to go back to front, do a throwback style here. Row 16 on the inside, Jose Salas Jr. Outside of him, Kyle Hendricks. In front of him, we had Dylan Robertson 31 machine and Matthew Molnar in the 29. Ahead of them, Ryan Keim in the number 21 machine, and then on the outside of row 14, Gil Shatterland in the number 97 machine.
Row 13 here, it's going to be Quentin Clark in the 08 and Miles Davis here in the 20 machine. Row 12 going to be the 34 machine of Andy Tropiano and the 46 car of Ali Osman. Bernard Person in... Oh, sorry.
Row 11 is going to have Bernard Person and Tyler Murray in the number 16 machine. Row 10, we're going to have Craig Lautenschlager, number 13 machine, and the number 055 of Ryan Hill. Row 9 is going to show us Brandon Cruz Monsivice, our former booth broadcaster, former winner of this event, in number 54 machine. Outside of him, we're going to have Corey Cook in number 61 machine.
Row 8 is going to feature Brandon Cattell in the number 80 machine and the number 95 of Yusuf Ghali. Row number 7 sees the number 77 of Ryan Doucette and the number 53 of Justin Malillo. And row 6 here going to bring us Thomas Harmon 2 in the number 68 machine and the number 6 of Matt Skipper.
Row number 5 gives us Brian Baker in the 3rd in the number 3 machine, and outside of him, number 66 of Jacob Potak. See him start rolling off here. The number 26 car of Kevin McAdams and the 28 of Rob Collier in row number 4. Row number 10 gives us Evan Lack, the great qualifying run in the 33 machine. And outside of him, Sean Pelligan, the number 17 machine.
Row number 2 here coming up. It's going to be the 07 of Jack Mace and the number 81 of Corey Carpenter. And starting on the front row outside, gonna be Alex Kolnix and your pole sitter here for heat number 2, the number 99 of Milad Radman.
You'll see him head around here off of turn number 2 on this pace lap. Who are you watching out for in this one, Parker? Who do you is going to be your best bet, you think, to really work their way up forward from the back of this field?
As I said earlier, Dylan Roberts a good shout. He's a very good racer, and he's dug himself a bit of a hole here by starting in P29. And Jose Solis Jr., he's going to be aggressive trying to get up through this field, I believe. And one driver to watch, I believe, go to the back is that 54 car. I'm going to be watching him to drop to the back, unfortunately. Not sure how I feel about that strategy, but hey, Cruz is going to cruise.
Hey, you know, sometimes Cruz has made it through about every Winstel 400, though, so whatever his methodology, it works out.
I believe the thing he's been bigging himself up on is he's never missed it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a couple years ago the last chance qualifier on Sunday at 4 o'clock. He came in at the last minute. I believe it was me, you, and Tyler in the booth for that one, equally dumbfounded.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As I see him round off a turn number 4 here to take the green flag. Pace truck will soon be off, and we will let this field of 32, a little bit larger field this time, take the green flag.
As you said, bigger field, so bigger potential for Rex as the green flag is in the air here. Milad Radman's going to lead him off.
Yeah, Milad reads the field off that number 99 machine. You see him thunder by this tri-oval here, getting up the speed in the 3rd gear. See him hop up in the 4th gear here, they thunder around turn number 1. Pretty organized, pretty even up front. Looks like the outside line is going to pull a little bit of an advantage, but not much, as we've seen in testing prior. Inside line, not really the place to be, but in heat number 1, it really prevailed. People were willing to work down there, so
that's
we'll see how they stand.
That's what really surprised me about Heat 1. You know, I heard a lot of people really complaining that it might be a very high side dominated race, but Heat 1 really saw that bottom line work together. I believe both lines are pretty even. If it just really depends on who you get up there, you know. And as it looks like the inside line's prevailing for now here, is Milad Radman going to come by to lead lap 1.
Yeah, outside line really didn't get too organized there at the jump. They really didn't line up that well, it didn't seem. So the inside line has pulled out another, about 4 cars are outside of that sort of outside line. But now that Brian Baker's hopped up there, we should see a little bit of resurgence as Alex Kolnix, number 2 machine, is up behind him.
A little bit of 3 wide back there. It looked like it might be 4 wide now. Brian Baker, Ryan Doucette. A little bit of contact there.
Watch that yellow line, boys.
Watch that yellow line. You got to watch that yellow line. Previously in Winstel, that yellow line would be a fair game, but recently in recent rule changes, we have seen you've seen that changes. Look who's closer to the front here. It's that red machine, Brandon Cruz Monsivice, going against his word. Going against a little bit of his word.
Yeah, you know, Cruz might have just been playing us off. He might have been trying to quell the thoughts of those in heat number 2 who are probably watching heat number 1 there, trying to get some homework in, some studying in. So maybe Cruz was betting on, I know Cruz is a betting man, trying to throw some people off there. You see, again, this transition battle here, 3 wide. Sean Pelleg really losing out there after that start, got shuffled out and fallen pretty far back. So we see kind of 2 different packs developing. They're going to really get organized here and get back going before this pack ahead of them pulls away.
Now, one good thing for these guys now is that kind of second pack has caught up to the front 5 cars. We had a bit of a 5-car breakaway there for a little bit, but that second pack is now caught up to them, and they are now 2x2 as Alex Kolnick's looking to make a move on the outside.
Yeah, this is the most broken up we've really seen this this field really get. We're going to see Brandon Cruz is going to have a huge run here.
Big old run.
Yeah, through the number 2 turn, hopping up to the outside here. We'll see what he can do, if he can make this run work or not. You see him hop up, and Kevin McAdams hop up in front of him here, kind of stalling that run out. Cruz is not going to push the issue here.
Now that outside lane getting a little bit more organized than that bottom line was. Only about 5 cars there on the bottom as, McAdams making a late move there to the bottom, and it looks like, that 66 car of Jake Potak almost got turned there off the corner by Ryan Doucette as Alex Kolnick's looking like he might lead this lap. Maybe yes.
Yeah, I saw also in that little battle, I saw Bernard Pearson get into the back of Matt Skipper in the number 6 machine and almost turned him sideways in the middle of 3 and 4. A lot of action going on. I think we were right when we said that this race would be the action race and the first race would be the calm race. But so far, 5 laps into it, clean so far. I think the first race made about 6 laps with the first caution. Let's see if they can do a bit better here in the second heat.
That is very true. Looks like I think we got all the cars within about 2.7 seconds. So all the cars still in this big pack right here. Of course, it looks like somebody there towards the back might be falling off a little bit, so it might be -1 now. But this front pack here, it's been a pretty good one so far. That outside line is losing a bit of steam now, though.
Here's some driver radio. Sean Pellig not happy, which is status quo. I'd be concerned if he was happy. But again, Sean, I feel for him though.
Yeah, he is shuffled out, and he's way in the back now.
I think his best bet, I see Dylan Roberts back there. I think Dylan might just be trying to ride this one out on the Cruz strategy, but I would be good with Dylan and just kind of doing whatever he does. And, these two Winstel guys, they can work great together. So Sean, not happy, but he'll be in good hands back there with Dylan Roberts, one of his Winstel teammates.
And he also has Jose Salas Jr. back there. He and Jose work well together whenever Jose's not on one of his, oof. But, anyway, back up at the front, Millad Radman currently leading this event, doing a darn good job at it. Holding a pretty wheel up there. And that wonderful-looking Jeff Burton 2000 throwback machine.
Yep, up there getting pushed by Jack M. Mace, number 07 machine, followed by Evan Locke. Evan Locke having a good showing so far. Pretty good speed weeks. Very good in qualifying. And so far, 3rd in this line on the inside. I'm starting to kind of string out the field again a little bit. The inside line
it's making a bit of a run here. They're now beside Kevin McAdams. But yeah, that inside line has been the surprise.
It has been. I thought the inside line would struggle based on everything we've done so far, but every year we spend all the speed weeks thinking, hey, this is how it's going to be, and then the heats and the last chances come, and we have it all thrown on our heads again as we get these.
Yeah, it's a complete curveball.
That's the thing, though, is that, you really don't know what's going to happen until you get 30 cars on track, and so now that we have all the cars on track and they're being serious, and, the consequences are here, they've surprised them how good this inside line has been.
Absolutely correct. Collins kind of stalled out now beside Evan Locke. And we got a little bit of 3 wide there. I believe that's Andy Trepiano in the 34, stuck in the middle in the old sucker hole.
Let's look at the back of Jack M. Mace. Everybody behind him 2 wide or 3 wide, and there's just no comfort when you're racing that hard. There really is no riding. He's going to get pulled off the back of the number 99 of Millad Radman, and we're going to start seeing that outside line start to resurge there, being led by the number 2 machine of Alex Kolnick.
Yeah, Alex knows what he's doing, so I'm not surprised that outside line is moving. He also has Corey Carpenter, I believe, behind him, and Brandon Hayes-Cattell. Both very good restrictor plate racers as well. So we got a little bit of a 3rd line forming there on the outside. We got a couple cars trying to make that work.
Yeah, Ryan held the first jump outside there, the number 055 machine, followed by the number 61 of Corey Cook in that McConey setup shop machine. As they start to work their way forward.
Starting to get dicey up here towards the front. There's a battle for the lead here. Alex Kolnick as we are on board with old Corey Cook here.
And that 3 wide has turned back to 2 wide as that front couple moved to the outside lane to kind of stalled it out. And that has really hurt Jacob Potak. He was up there kind of leading that line and got put in the middle as they went to the outside. And all of his help left him. He got put in that sucker hole. Now he has fallen back pretty severely here as they clear the top line, and Alex Collins gets left out to dry by the number 81 and 80 of Corey Carpenter and Brandon Hayes-Cattell. It looks like two teammates working together.
And very similar looking cars, two teammates working very well together as they take the lead here on the top line. Oh.
Also looks like Alex Collins has gotten a bit of sponsorship here in that car.
Good.
I was going to say, thankfully someone yesterday in the qualifying broadcast caught him, and PRSsetups.com on the side of that car, thankfully in a scheme that is much more appealing to the eye. So you go back
a little bit of 3x3 here. They shuffled him out. 3 wide for the lead here between Brandon Cattell, Corey Carpenter, and Millard Radman.
Can we say this is the crazy race now? Is this official?
I think it is. They're 3x3. They're getting stacked up sideways here off the corner. 3x3x3. I don't think that's physically possible. I think that would be a cube. But besides that, they're 3 wide.
And Craig Lautenschlager in the number 13 machine in P12, only half a second behind the leader. So that transfers position is a half-second battle. You have to be in this front little cube to really have a chance at it, as they see more dicing and splicing as we head down the back straightaway here for the 12th time.
And Corey Carpenter and Brandon Hayes-Cattell find themselves
nose to tail again. Millard Radman in the wall.
We got a crash! Millard Radman into the wall! Looks like
somehow only 2 cars are going to be in this wreck.
Oh my goodness.
I cannot believe we did not just wad up the entire field.
Looks like Millard Radman and the 29 machine of Matthew Molnar both caught up in this incident.
I was riding on board with them looking at them as that started. It looked like someone went to make a move 3 wide and just the hole closed, and Millard was the one who paid for it. And somehow, unbelievably, in the front of the snarling pack, only 2 cars were involved. We'll see here on our screen, looking at the number 99 of Millard Radman, the 13, and the 29 of Thomas Molnar. And it looks like they are, the hole closed and the 13 was in it. And it's gonna pay out for number 29 and 99.
The circle, and just right hooked into the fence. Very lucky that not more cars were caught up in that. That is very fortunate. As,
the number 13 of Craig Lautenschlager might have to move it back a little bit further to see kind of how that started, but I believe, go back a little bit further. Yeah, so let's see. Must be a great shot from the chopper as we kind of see the momentum on the back straightaway. So watch that 99 on the inside there. He's going to start getting pulled back here off the side draft. He's going to start losing into momentum. And the outside and middle are moving very quickly. And so we see these two kind of lines converging. And it looks like actually the 29, I'm sorry to Craig Lautenschlager, I don't think he really did anything wrong, but the 29 got into the back of Ali Osman there, and it kind of pushed him to the inside, kind of off of his right front. So really not much could be done by Craig there, as he kind of just all stacked together. But, as it is, these entries get really tight in the turn number 3 there. So
Craig was going for that hole, and unfortunately that hole closed because there was a little bit of contact between the 29 and the 46, I believe it was.
But once again, somehow only 2 cars involved in this accident. Amazingly, nobody else involved.
Yeah,
from
amazing
the front of the
job
field,
by all about
P8, P9, where they crashed and in front of the field sideways.
Yeah, the one car I was really worried about, I saw that 22 car coming. I thought he was going to get himself a piece, but good job by Jose avoiding that.
And that we've had some pit stops there, as we see.
Oh, it looks like Sean Butler might have lost connection. I think he was in Heat 1. I think he might be a spotter. My apologies.
I believe, Sean was probably a spotter, so no major impact.
That's our Heat 1 winner, actually.
Yeah, it is. He took off the fire suit, went back up the stairs, be on the boards for Kevin McAdams, I'd assume. Check here in a second. Let's see who he is actually spotting for. Interesting, too, looking at the entry list, seeing who has spotters. We got Jack M. Mace with a spotter, Rocky Boy in the 3rd, looking over after him. Millard Radman has a spotter up there. Corey Carpenter has Chris Overland up there looking over him. So several drivers have help here, and Ryan Keim also has Nick Doucette looking over his shoulders. So that plays a big role. Parker, you were spotting for Jeff in that first race. How does that help you having a spotter or being a spotter for somebody in these races?
Well, if they're actually spotting for you, they can give you some good detail on how the lines are moving and stuff like that. Another thing is, like it's a lot nicer having a human talking in your ear whenever you're in one of these situations. You know, iRacing spotter does a good job most of the time, but you know, sometimes it slips up, and you know, it's nice having a human voice in your ear.
You guys, we head around here. It looks like we're seeing some pitch strategy play out here pretty significantly. We are working lap 15, and if these guys can stretch the field a little bit and go green from here on out, they could possibly make it, as we see a lot of guys topping off here on pit road.
Possible fuel mileage situation, as you said, so we'll see how that plays out. Just what we needed for the potential of a crazy race, you know, a little bit of fuel mileage.
Yeah, it looks like only about 8 or 9 cars stayed out there coming out of turn number 2. The rest of the field will be on the apron there till the blue cone, so they can merge on track. So we're going to see basically a single file restart here. Only about 6 cars lined up on the front, double filed up. Everyone who stopped will be single file there, so we're going to see a long train of cars, almost like a early 2000 style restart before we had double file restarts. Note, Cruz, I believe, stayed out here or either pit the first time, and he has worked his way back up to the number 5 position here. So,
so we'll see what we'll see what he does here, whether he goes back to the back or whether or not he just says to heck with it and stays up front here. So it'll be interesting to see what Cruz does.
Yep, and as we come into turn 4, let's do a little recap. Jack Mace, Craig Lautenschlager, Alex Kolonix, Ryan Doucette, Brandon Cruz Bonspice, Tyler B. Murray, Bernard Person, Justin Malello, Kevin McAdams, Jacob Potak, Corey Carpenter, and Brandon Hayes-Cattell are currently in the transfer spots right now.
Coming to the green flag here, only about 5 cars on the outside line. That's going to be difficult for them as you know, there's not as many cars up there, so it's not generating as much energy. As you can already see here, Jack Mace launches off the line, and the front 2 cars are going to get clear.
Yeah, as we said, you know, really weird restart because there's not really many cars that were lined up double file. Most people top
and there they go, straight to the back goes that outside line. Front 5 cars are going to break away here probably.
Yeah, it looks like they just really didn't get a good restart. They didn't get connected very well. Number 66 of Jacob Potak got stuffed to the outside. They almost kind of got contact there that really checked up that outside line. That's going to make a big accordion effect as Sean do the first car to kind of check up on Jacob there, and they're going to have to all check up as all these different lines are going to compress together, and they kind of work their way here off of turn number 4.
Another tough situation there for Sean Pelly, getting stuck behind Jake Potak there. We'll see what as we got a little bit of contact there between the 3 and the 85, I believe, of Yusuf Gali and Brian Baker. There, a little bit of arguing there over the radio.
See him thunder to turn number 2, mostly single file, surprisingly enough. Didn't expect to see them single file out.
Oh, we got a crash! It's big crash down the back. I believe that's Yusuf Gali. I believe that's Jake Potak as well, one of those cars involved.
See the 95 of Yusuf Gali down there in the back straightaway. He was the first one sideways. I'm not sure why.
We'll see what happened here. They're not very happy with each other, unfortunately.
It looks like this angle, I can't tell if see him racing here with Brian Baker the third in the middle, Jacob Potak on the outside line, who we talked about. See this little hot spot here of Sean, Potak, and Yusuf, and Brian Baker in the middle. Let's see what happens as they here roll up at turn number 2. It looks like
the 95 thought he was in a Wrecking for Jesus session and just tried to kill himself.
And
then the 3 car also started to come down too.
Did he think it was clear? I'm not sure, but
he
it looks like he even
cleared himself and
took out himself.
Took out
look
2
at
other cars.
Avoidances
oh, look at that avoidance! Oh my
Absolutely excellent avoidance by some of these guys back here to keep themselves out of trouble. But again, very odd.
Very odd incident here off of 2. Yeah. Those two were arguing, so there might have been a little bit of, dare I say, beef there. Not to steal a page out of Mr. Travis Moonhead Brown's page, but
it could have been too. You know, with the way those side draft is, he kind of got far enough forward where he would have gotten that big side draft. I wonder if that point up the track he wasn't ready for it. Is just.
I also wonder if he didn't know if they were 3 wide potentially. As that is quite
possible.
The
As he has a lightning clean-esque ka-chow into the outside safer barrier.
Unfortunate for these guys is they will have to take their fast repair. But thankfully this will put us good on this would put us good on fuel, I believe. So
if
no longer a fuel
I'm not
choice.
Sure if those who stayed out are going to be safe.
I believe most of the fuel came down in here to get some pits. So
most came in, but I think a bunch didn't top off. So I wonder if they will be tight on fuel.
It's a possibility.
I'm assuming probably a good chance of the field there. You see them rolling off the pit road, have come in and re-topped off again. So I would assume that it was not necessarily good on fuel for all these drivers, especially if we're going like checkered. As we see officially too, Yusuf Ghali was deemed at fault of the incident, so we park for this race and he will have to head over to the last chance qualifier.
That is unfortunate for Yusuf, as like you said, over to the last chance qualifier. Will not get the chance to compete in that second chance race tonight, unfortunately, as of course the incident rules are you caused one incident in your heat, you're done until that LCQ tomorrow night.
Yeah, unfortunate, but it does keep people on their toes and keeps them a little bit cleaner than what we've seen in the past. So that is not your free ticket to go out there and drive crazy. You do have to keep in mind that you are someone who's going to be under the radar. Anything you do can and will be used against you in the court of Winstel law.
That's quite the court.
It is. I think me and you can both sufficiently say that there is quite a Winstel court, and we have.
I think most of the time it's just Tyler yelling at us.
Well,
or
maybe for you, I get a little bit more serious conversations sometimes. But as we see the field come back around, should get the one to go here. We'll see another car topping off. Looks like the number 15 of Kyle Hendricks, not out of his fuel, going to leave the track and get some more fuel.
Restart with about halfway here, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys do from here on out. There is a little bit of tire wear. It does get a little tight into a run, so we'll see what these guys try to do, whether or not they try to save up a little bit, save their stuff for the end.
Yeah, we talked to Logan Kress there in the last one, and he said that he was struggling with the right front tire. He enjoyed it, but handling was indeed a factor. Guys up front, not Logan Kress, but Sean Butler said he didn't really feel it. So back in the pack, when you're battling back there, you don't have much air in your car, handling come into effect. But with how much of this race has been under yellow and how deep those shadows are, and turn them away to see those shadows really creeping down there, maybe not as much of an issue.
Especially a factor with how fast these guys are going. These guys are going about 210, 211 going into these corners if you're back in the pack. So they're carrying a lot of speed into these corners at Daytona. And of course, this is no longer, it's not 2011 anymore. This asphalt, it's getting a little old, getting a little worn. So these guys are having to play a little bit more with the handling.
Yep, so as we kind of head down the back straightaway to take the green one more time, leader Ryan Doucette has chosen the inside line. He's got Justin Nolan, the number 53 outside of him. We got Thomas Harmon 2, Tyler B. Murray, Jose Salas Jr., Jack M. Mace, Alex Kolinix, Corey Carpenter, Brandon Cruz Monsivice, Kevin McAdams, Brandon Hayes-Cattell, and Craig Lautenslager, your top 12. Those are your transfer spots. Those are the guys who are going to make it through if it stays as is. Everyone else will be fighting their way forward.
I hear you. I hear you say stays as is. I got to tell you, it ain't going to stay as is. It's about to get hairy here as we're coming down to 20 to go, 20 laps in, halfway through this event here as the pace truck pulls in.
As they approach the Geico restart zone, green flag back in the air. Ryan Doucette leads us off here on the bottom of the racetrack. Field thunders through the trial one more time as they go through the gears.
neither lane really prevailing here. Is now the outside lane kind of gets a little bit ahead of his team. You see now that the outside lane actually has the cars, they can actually kind of hang. As it looks like that 16 car of Tyler B. Murray got a little squirrely there, cost that outside line a little bit of momentum.
But, he's going to come back to the left rear of Justin there, and really did not line up.
Gotta watch out for that left rear.
He's going to drop to the bottom here as the number 07 of Jacket Mason going to go right to the back of Justin Lowe in the turn number 3. They're going to try to work their way forward here and get some big runs off the top side as the inside line currently prevailing a small amount. Right on board number 22 of Jose Salas Jr. on the inside line. Currently is safe, but again, it only takes a few seconds for you to fall back out of that line and not be safe anymore. As you look back behind him in Alex Konic's machine, number 2 Chevrolet, he heads off into turn number 1. Into that bank, you see how deep these shadows are compared to the race number 1. It's a little bit later in the day. The track has cooled down some. We started this race off at 98 degrees. It's now in the 87s. This track cooling off, the grip coming up. That might be why we're seeing such crazy racing here, is because there is more grip in the track. We've seen the oval refresh. The temperatures mean a lot more now. You see the field shuffling their way off into turn number 3, side by side like a pace lap. The first 3-wide battle is pretty far in the back of the pack, around 30th. Ryan A. Hill, Milad Radman, and Ryan Keim.
One thing of note here on our screen here, Jose Salas Jr. in front of Mr. Kolinix here. Jose was, of course, on the wrong end of Cruz's fortune in, I believe, the 2022 Winstel 400. Whenever Cruz made it at the last second, Jose was on the wrong end of that. Did not, unfortunately, get the race in that year's event. But Jose looking pretty good here for about halfway through our second heat.
See the stats on Brandon Cruz Montevise. Started out 17th and fell back as far as 25th. Now currently barely outside that transfer position in 15th. It's only like the third on this restart, but it's kind of fallen back a little bit. So he needs to start working his way forward. Obviously, it's past time for pit stops. He needs to be moving forward and making those spots. We see Sean Peleg to his outside here. Been in the back all time, not very satisfied with his time up here, but he is now finally working his way forward. Currently 17th, moving forward again. So he's a little bit of the transfer spots, and I bet that I could see Jose popping up in front of him. He gets a hole when this outside line kind of disorganizes and reorganizes.
I've been focused on Sean this entire run. He's been steady on that outside line, just kind of working his way up through the pack. Now he makes a move to make it 3 wide between the 29 car. What a move by Sean. He's really trying to work his way towards the front of this field.
Importantly, look who's around him, right? He's got Dylan Roberts following him. He's got Evan Lack behind him. These 3 Winstel regulars are probably going to work together. We called this out at the start. You know, Dylan and Sean probably working together. We see Alex Collins make a 3 wide outside of Jose. They're going to start getting answers to transfers. Currently, that time by the line, it goes to the number 17 of Sean Peleg, was 12th that time by. So this is the battle for transfer right here. These guys have got to either get organized and move forward or defend with their lives. This is not a safe place to be. This is very, very... You know, we saw in the first heat, Gabe missed out by inches because of a wall tap coming to the line. You don't want to be in the spot like this. You want to be safe. You want to be in the top 5.
Sean might be in the transfer spot, but he's in arguably the worst spot to be in. He's at the top 3 wide. If they wreck, there is nowhere to go.
You see the 29 machine get in the back of the 2 car.
Yeah, I saw that. It got a little squirrely.
Again, Ali Osman trying to block that line. Very squirrely here as they come to the tri-oval. Let's give that outside line a little bit more juice as they come across there, pulling themselves forward. See 3 wide through most of the field with the front 5 rows 2 wide.
Now, whenever you're 3 wide, the line you do not want to be in is that bottom line. That bottom line gets really bogged down, but it's holding pretty tough here. I'm very surprised. Normally either the middle or the bottom really goes towards the back, but they're holding pretty tough.
It'll get more and more of a slog as that middle line moves forward. You know, as they start to get that 3rd, 4th car in line in the bottom, they'll start pulling them back and really robbing that inside line of momentum. But currently, the inside line is up there with the lead, and there's a kind of a gap between them and the middle lane. So those guys on the inside had to kind of draft off and pull them forward as that outside line or middle line is kind of side drafting them. But again, as they start marching their way forward, they're starting to come to the outside of Ryan Doucette now, pull him back, and one by one they pull that inside line back, and it loses its momentum and it starts to slog down more and more.
Howe giving the chat and everybody watching this race a free lesson in the EA Howe School of Drafting. As down the back straightaway here, our leader looks like it's going to be Corey Carpenter as that top line is kind of prevailing a little bit.
Now, see, if I'm that number 16 of Tyler Murray, or, you know, if I was Ryan Doucette coming to the Tribal last time, I would be hopping in front of Ali Osman in that middle. I do not want to get stuck on that bottom and have to really slog it out here as it starts to lose momentum. You see now, as we talked about, they've lost the momentum, and now we get that car length gap, almost 2 car length gap behind Ryan Doucette. Inside line falling back. There's a gap in the middle, though. If I was Jose Salas Jr., I'd be hopping up there. I think he does hop up there. Read my mind.
He does.
And again, but that robs him the inside momentum. So it's a reciprocating game. You know, every time it loses momentum, more people leave it, and so it loses more and more momentum. You've got to be very proactive on that bottom and make sure that you are not getting stuck down there and shuffled to the back. On board with Cruz again. Jose's come back to the inside line. I'm not sure why, because now that hole is closed for him. And
that bottom line is really getting bogged down, as Jose's lost a good amount of spots here, I believe.
See him shuffling wildly in the front of the pack there. See,
big check on the bottom.
Great
That's
job.
That's going to really break up that bottom line.
It did, but also really shuffled out that mid-pack to where we've now got the inside line and just 2 lines up to the front of the field again, and kind of calmed it down a little bit. Going to add some new spice and new people to the mix. We're going to try to fill those gaps now that they're open for them.
One thing I really like about this draft model is, you know, it's very chaotic. It's not static. You got people moving around. You got people trying things. This is what it's all about. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolute blast to race this. I'm almost kind of sad to not be able to race this
honestly,
year.
I mean, you know, I love the fact that I get to race in the big race tomorrow, but it would have been cool to get a little bit of practice in a race situation.
It is, and it's one of those things that you don't really think about. You know, you think, oh, it's just a free ticket to the show, but...
Oh, we got contact here between Ali Osman and the 29 car. Ali's going to go onto the apron. He comes back up. Everybody's clear. Everybody's straight, and we're going to keep it green.
Unbelievable as we come to 10 to go next time by. What an absolutely insane race this has been so far. This has just been
this has been phenomenal.
Slog. We've had 2 yellows so far. We've only had 2 drivers really get any damage out of it. So incredible job to keep it mostly clean. And also be 3 wide most of the time. We'll see the 81 and 80 machines, Hayes Cattell and his teammate kind of form it outside line, kind of move it forward again as we come to 10 to go this time by.
That middle line having a hard time prevailing right now as they are like many cars back, but we have 2 more jump up in front of the 29, and I believe that's Alex Kolnick's jumping up to the middle as they're now 3 by 3 once again.
Absolutely. We've seen that number 2 car work his way from the back to the front now. Very aggressive, very good. Lots of friends behind him. We're just going to start seeing probably here. I think it's really the first up we've seen that middle line be.
That
so
29 car is getting him squirrely.
But he's getting squirrely and fast, so he's up to almost second on the inside line. You see him pull back Justin a little off in the back of Jack M. Mace. Wouldn't be surprised to see Jack pop up or see one of them hop to the middle from the top side here as the middle starting to prevail here and get us momentum forward.
Look at this pack. They are 3 by 3, I believe, nearly 7 or 8 rows deep. What a pack here of race cars. As we haven't talked about him much because he's not really having to defend his position, but Corey Carpenter is in the lead of this thing.
Keep in mind, too, when they're 3 by 3 like this, 12 cars and only 4 rows of 3 wide. So, really, this front transfer spot is only, 5/10 back from the leader. They are in this pack. So you cannot be in this pack. You cannot be where Ryan Doucette is and make it through. You have to be up here battling for this win.
As you say that, though, that bottom line got really bogged down off of 2. It really killed its momentum, and now we're back to a 2 by 2. We got a crash! We got a big crash! Ali Osman hard into the wall!
The first car I saw was with that 08 machine. I'm not sure why, but several cars involved in this crash. We see Ali Osman backwards against the fence. We saw Kevin McAdams involved. Multiple cars involved in this crash here off of turn number 4, sorry.
It's unfortunate for those drivers as we wait to see who is involved.
Looks like the number 26 machine of Kevin McAdams got to the back of the 08 machine, turned him sideways.
That is just a big old pileup as a bunch of cars involved here as we get ready to look at it.
Roll it forward. The number 08 of Quinton and Clark up there, right ahead of Kevin McAdams and number 26 Doritos machine. He's going to get into the back of him here. Standard bump draft, he just gets him a little bit sideways, and then you can't get off him. He hits him on the left rear here. and it's going to hook him there.
Yep, and that's if you're going to hook him, that's where you're going to do it. That left rear is dangerous.
We hop onto the Quentin Clark machine right in front of the field. Mladen Radman involved again.
And then on board here with Ali Osman, hard into the wall.
Tremendous impact there.
Tremendous impact.
Unbelievably hard impact for Ali Osman there. Not what you want to see. You know, he did a good job leaving in this middle line to get up there. And you see, he thought he was through it and then just got hooked at the very end.
He does the right thing here. He gets it on the bottom and unfortunately hard in the walls. We're going to get the helmet cam here. It looks like this is going to be a hard impact, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready.
Oh my. Ooh. You don't want to see those type of impacts here, but luckily the Gen 6 car very safe. Outside wall, Daytona very safe, the safer barrier.
Thankfully not in the original plan that was originally for this year. We were going to be in the next gen machine. That would have been a much different story in that next gen machine.
Absolutely. So you get turned sideways there and just hard to the outside wall, and then nowhere for any of these guys to go behind them. McAdams involved, Ryan Doucette involved. Several guys who we thought were favorites coming into this involved in this wreck as we now is that Cruz back there involved as well? Evan Locke, who was up front at the early positions. Oh my.
Cruz does have a little bit of damage, unfortunately. So yeah, he was just caught on that top line, and oh my goodness, bunch of cars involved in this one.
Like we said, you know, you've got to be able to stay up at the front and not fall back in those clutches. You don't start back there. You don't want to be back there. Fortunately, Cruz was involved in that, so I hate to see that for him, but kind of a product we were making. You know, he said he wanted to ride back there, and it kind of bit him. To come to 6 laps to go.
Brandon breaking down the rules in the chat. Apologies, I was listening to him.
Yep, so drivers who do not make the top 12 in the Heat 1 and Heat 2 will go to the second chance race immediately following this race here. And then we will take another set of drivers from them. Anyone not making it from that race will go to the last chance qualifier Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon to set the field for the Winstel 400. So all but, I believe, 5 spots will be set today, and we will set the final few spots tomorrow. So again, very important to be here today and to really have a good showing. Last year, me and Parker and several others did not have a good heat. We both got sent to the last chance qualifier, or second chance qualifier, that is, and had to battle our way through that. Me and Parker both made it through barely, but stressful to be there. You don't want to be there. It's not as much fun as this is by any means. As they double up for what could be the final restart.
Final restart here, hopefully. And we're going to try to get Sean Pellig in the booth here for a quick little interview. Let me see if I can find him. Sean Pellig, you got a copy?
Yes, I do. What's up?
Talk to us about this hopefully potential final restart here, and what's your plan to get this dub?
Well, I'm just trying to stay up top and eat some fenders here, to be honest. I feel like it's the safest bet. It's what Dylan and I have been doing on that run.
I was watching you that run, and then I noticed you were very committed to that top line, and it was working.
Yeah, I feel like that's the safest bet. It prevents people from pulling me back. The side draft just so strong in these cars, so hoping to keep that working. Hopefully it can take us to the promised land.
Alrighty, Sean. Hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this thing in Victory Lane.
Appreciate it. Enjoy this.
Yep, you too. So that was Sean Pellig, hoping to get this dub.
Sean currently P8, his teammate Dylan Roberts, P10 and number 31 machine directly behind him. They will be absolutely working together here to push this deal forward. I'm assuming they will hop to the top as soon as possible and try to pull some fenders back and get themselves in better position here as we come to the restart. A 5 to go restart. This will not be point of the return. If we get into the yellow, we will go to a green, white, checkered, and that will be our point of the return. But with this Winstel competition, we've seen it go green 5 laps before. There's a very good shot this will be a 5-lap brawl to the end. So make your spots now, and you can make yourself into the show. Green flag goes back in the air. They go through the gears. The teammates of Brandon Hayes-Cattell and Corey Carpenter are separated. Looks like they're going to do...
Oh, they're spinning the tires there on the bottom line, and I believe a little bit on the top as well. We got a crash. Big crash in the back. Oh, my goodness.
That is a huge crash. That's most of the field. You know, Parker, I don't think that was tire spin. I think what it was, but I think the 80 car of Hayes-Cattell and the 81 were doing the little do-si-do as teammates trying to hop in the line.
Oh, my goodness. I believe you might have been correct there, as that was incredible. A big crash on the restart here of Heat 2. That was like Flash 2020-esque.
It was. We got a bunch of cars damaged. Looks like
a big puff of smoke there off of one of the machines as we see what happens here.
First car settled to the 15, the 6 a Skipper, and then it looked like he got the right rear of Melillo, and then back this up a little bit more because it looks like the inside line doesn't go. I think the 80 doesn't go off the restart, and he checks it inside the inside lineup massively, and it kind of accordions everyone back. This is a good shot here from the helicopter. Watch that 80 car, the first car on the inside line. You see the green come out here. His teammate's going to go. The 81, he's going to kind of wait on him a little bit and not.
Yeah, you see that 81 car going, that 80 car a little slower, but it looks like it's more of a checkup.
It might have been, yeah, you might be right. It could have been.
Looks like it's more of a checkup towards the back of the pack, maybe with the 53 and the 07.
Yeah, the 07 is on the apron there. No.
Oh, and they get sideways on the top and around they go. A big massive humanity right there. Big old accordion. It looks like Jose. I saw Jose sneak his way through there. Oh my goodness. What a crazy crash here on the restart.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't really see that very often. You know, we only have gone 20 laps on tires, but it looks like people just kind of spun the tires a little bit, didn't get a good start, and it really according things up there. So now we will go green, white, checkered officially. This will be the point of the return. So we will have 2 laps to decide it. There will be no yellow flags in this point of no return, period. So, like last time, it'll go green and it will finish under a checkered flag no matter what.
Well, if I need to bring up something from last year, I was in heat number 2, and there was a caution flag. So anything can happen. Just thought I'd point that out. But there should not be a caution flag.
But crazy things happen.
I hope the admins keep their fingers away from that caution button.
As it stands right now, P number 12 is Rob Collier. Going forward, Matt Skipper, Jack M. Mace, Dylan Roberts, Brian Baker, Sean Peleg, Bernard Person, Matthew Molnar, Craig Lautenslager, Brandon Hayes-Cattell, Alex Connick, and Corey A. Carpenter are those who are going to transfer through into the 400. Everyone on back is racing their way through, and for a lot of these guys, they do have some pretty significant damage. You know, Milad Radman, I think, has been involved in every single crash so far. The poor pole sitter just had no luck.
Unfortunate luck, yeah, for old Milad Radman. And
Ryan Doucette's been involved in the last 2. Tyler B. Murray's kind of gone from the front to the back now.
One thing I do want to point out is Sean said he was committed to the outside line, but it looks like he's going to be, if you look at your scoring pylon here, whenever it cycles through, it looks like he might be P7. Yeah, P7 for Sean Peleg. Not the line he's going to want to restart in, so we'll see how that does for him.
Yeah, but I mean, should be far enough forward to where also his teammate Dylan Roberts will be down there with him on that bottom, so
very good to point out.
Should hopefully give him a shot, but we'll see as they come to take. Should be 1 to green here.
Yes, indeed, 1 to green. Corey Carpenter still in the lead, and Alex Connick is going to be second. Brandon Hayes-Cattell going to be on the bottom line with Corey Carpenter this time, so hopefully no shenanigans on the restart.
That inside line is pretty stacked. We got Cattell and Carpenter.
Oh my goodness.
We got behind them Matthew Molnar, Sean Peleg, and Dylan Roberts. What a line down there.
That is quite the line, yeah.
So I expect them to boogie away and try to just stay organized in single file. But again, Alex Hollenix, great driver on the outside, followed by Craig Lautenschlager. There are no slouches. They can get organized and get going. So just have to see here. These final 2 laps are going to be very, very, very insane. And Rob Collier's going to feel like he has a target on his back, that number 12 spot. Definitely not safe.
Sorry, just listening to the current discourse between the 6 car and the admin booth. A little bit of confusion here for the 6 car. But we're still coming to green here. As gonna be interesting to see. I am very interested to watch that inside line. Those 2 teammates are hooked together, and the 2 teammates between Sean and Dylan will be hooked together down there. So I'm very interested to see this restart. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and 2 laps of green flag racing to decide it here.
I believe the issue with the 6 of Max Skipper was that I believe he had gone the pit road to avoid that accident, gotten the penalty, and did not want to go back where Iverson scored him, but he has been scored back there, so he's had to give up his position. He's not happy about that, understandably so. As they come to the green flag for the final 2 laps of heat number 2, still not a great restart on the bottom. These guys really struggling on tires. I don't know if they took tires in that pit cycle. So Jose Salachina's first to really jump up to the outside. Still organized up front as they come into turn number 1 for the final restart here.
Jose's gonna stick it up the middle, as Sean Pellig also gonna stick it up the middle here. He's got Dylan Roberts with him.
Oh, this is so intense. You can feel the energy. You can feel the anxiety in these drivers. They know that they have to race for everything, and it's just so tough to do. You make these moves.
They're juking and jiving around. Oh my goodness. They're 4 wide. Oh, they bounce it off. They're big crash in the back.
We stay green, remember, as they come to the white flag. That's going to really secure these transfer spots for those who have not had this accident. The number 20 machine, the last in this lead pack, is now P14. So 2 drivers in this lead pack will not make it through. So the final 2 spots in this field make it out. So we just got to watch the back of this main pack as Corey Carpenter and the 81 of his teammate lead it through. They look currently towards Miles Davis and Rob Collier in the back of the field as they're making heavy contact up front. You don't need to do this, guys.
You don't need to do this. Oh my goodness, Sean Pellig getting sideways. You don't need to do this. Oh my goodness, there they go.
No!
They did not need to do that as they are crashing big time.
Who's going to make it through?
Oh no!
These guys have been ranked in the back. They might make it through now. Look out!
They're not going to make it through as they all crash. As it's going to be Cattell going to get the win. Who's going to get the transfer?
Quentin Clark in the number 08 machine is 10th. Kyle Hendricks 11th. Tyler B. Murray gets the transfer 8 seconds back.
Oh my goodness. What an event Heat 2 was. It came down to the wire between Carpenter and Cattell. Oh my goodness.
They didn't need to do that. Oh,
unbelievable.
No.
I need to get a look at what happened there as we got some contact after the flag.
Yeah, the machine of Kyle Hendrickson to really see how, or Tyler B. Murray, sorry, to see how that last lap played out for him. Because I believe he was in that first accident and had to drive his way back through. And looked like he was just nowhere to be seen. Looked like it was game over, but somehow makes it through. I cannot believe that we just saw that. You see the restart here.
It's just the final restart here in its entirety. Tempers flaring.
Understandably. What a wild turn this last lap here. You'd think that, you know, these guys are safe, they don't need to race, but they kind of, that anxiety of, you know, this last lap's good to see. You see
back straight away.
The first crash
oh
between
goodness.
the Jose Salas Jr. and those guys that got 4 wide. You just can't go 4 wide. They were beating the Magnus Scissors doors off. You see them crash back there.
Big crash.
Tyler B. Murray's the one to focus on here. You see him all the way back here. He is involved in this first crash. this is our last chance for spot. So if we could like go on board with him, see what he saw over his shoulder as they come to the back straightaway here. He is this far behind the field right now. He is, you can't even see the leaders. The leaders are off in the turn number 1 right now. So let's see how he navigates this last lap. Because here's going to be a big pileup in turn number 4 on the last lap. See the wounded car, the Loves machine. It's going to get around him. That's very, very, very critical there. So you look over his shoulder in the helmet cam. At this point now, you're just praying. You are absolutely praying, and now he's going to see prayers get answered to see the field go sideways up on the turn number 3 there. And now you pick a lane, because you're going to watch his RPMs. He's at 8,000 RPMs. He is not going to lift, I guarantee you. And he sees the smoke ahead of him. Car sideways, people sideways. We see Sean Pelling in the middle of the track getting slammed. Ali Osmond, I believe that is, or Matt Skipper there, got involved in that crash, slowed down, and he's going to get one more at the line. Oh my
He's gonna
goodness.
make the race off of that. Oh my goodness.
The Winstel 400 never disappoints, but I cannot believe that last lap. And we need to see what happened probably too between that front pack there to cause that last crash, because I'm not sure how they got started, but that was not...
Yeah, we're gonna have to take a look at that. It looked like it... That is just unbelievable what happened there. As coming into turn 3 here, we're gonna hopefully be able to take a look.
Already in progress here. This is the first accident, I believe.
Yeah, that's the first accident.
So Jose Salas Jr. looks like it's in the 55, but it looks like they were 4 wide before that, and they really caused that. See Cruz involved in another accident, unfortunately. Would have been okay, but got turned there at the very last second. See Evan Locke in his damaged machine, heading up in the turn number 3. A lot going on these last couple laps. Hard to really find everything that happened. Lots of cars damaged, lots of cars destroyed. I believe that wreck started with the 31 of Dylan Roberts. It's the first car I saw sideways in that last lap accident in the front pack.
I believe it was the 21 and the 3 car getting together on the coming into 3.
Here we see the final lap. I believe this is coming to the white flag for this front pack, though the rest of the field's already kind of gotten taken around. We see these guys battle it out. See, at this point, remember, there's only 14 cars in this lead pack. Only 2 drivers are going to go home, so you'd think for these guys up front they wouldn't be racing this hard, but you see Alex Collins makes a move on the number 80 machine, and then they start battling there, side drafting pretty aggressively. Jack Mason's up on the high side behind the 81, the teammates there. And it looks like a lot of aggressive driving going on, a lot of bumping and banging. You see a lot of cars sideways, and 4 wide, this is not going to work. And just
3 car just looked like a pinball for that entire back straightaway, and you finally
I don't know that anyone's driver was at fault there. I think
yeah,
really
but like, oh my goodness.
The attitude of that entire pack, I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why the guys, 10th on back were racing hard because they know that there's 2 spots that aren't going to make it, but I don't know why guys like in the top 4 were racing it aggressively. They could have just ridden that single file and let it be, but what a topsy-turvy finish to this race. I cannot believe what we just saw.
Neither can I. As I believe, I don't think he's in the Discord. Actually, wait, yeah, they are, so let's get them in here. Our top 2 finishers, we'll get Brandon Cantell in here. Brandon Cantell, congratulations. You won heat race number 2 of the Winstel 400.
Yeah, Corey should have won that race. I couldn't have done it without him. Is there any way we could bring him into the booth with that?
Yeah, you two seem to be working together pretty well here. We'll get him in here. There he is.
Yeah, like I said, we kind of both won that race. Corey, tell him what we did there.
I mean, last night we were talking about what we should do for paint schemes, and we just went into the in-game paint editor and we're like, let's match and then dominate this thing, and that's what we did. So mission accomplished.
Called your shot. There is. Hey, I'm pretty speechless on that one. You guys did exactly what you wanted to do. Congratulations. Looked like you guys had a pretty good finish there coming to the line as well.
Yeah, I would say I was doing all I could down the backstretch to make sure we were side drafting the 2 and keeping him away from Corey. And then when he was out there by himself, all I could do was push him. And then we had Overland in our ear coming to the checkered. All right, race it out. It's between you guys. Race it out. And I just went to the outside of him there, and I swindled him. But no, we both really won that race. We worked so good together on the super speedways. Corey and I have known each other for 10 years, 12 years now, so we're pretty old at this. So we keep racing.
That's good to hear. Is planning to do the same thing tomorrow?
I believe so. I think we can do it. As long as I got Corey, as long as we don't wreck.
Alrighty. Anybody you two would like to shout out before we send this thing off?
Yeah, Corey, you go ahead.
Just you guys for putting this thing on. It's pretty cool to have a money event where there's no entry fee. I'm a big supporter of this league. I don't get to run too often, but when I do, it's always a pleasure.
I got one person, Robert Cattell Roofing. If your roof is leaking in Florida, call 239-699-8762, Robert Cattell Roofing.
Alrighty. Thank you, gentlemen, and congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was our top two finishers, the teammates of Brandon Hayes-Cattell and Corey Carpenter, working together all night long. We're going to hop off for another intermission before we head to the second chance qualifiers here in another couple of minutes.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Winstel 400 preliminaries for the second chance showdown here at the Daytona International Speedway. Joined here, not right now, as she is off getting a little water break, but joined by Emily Howe when she comes back, and we're gonna get this show on the road here. I believe qualifying's coming up here pretty directly. Big list of big names in here. Sean Peleg, Dylan Roberts, Jeffrey McClintock, Jose Solis Jr., a bunch of Winstel regulars, as well as Evan Locke, another one of them in there. Our broadcast colleague Cruz, also in there from earlier. So yeah, big name race here for the second chance showdown. Is 12 cars will advance from this race, and we got another 40 lap race to decide it. I believe we've got some cars rolling off for quali now. We got James Bowles in that number 85 machine, making his way onto the speedway. Might see some faster times for qual here. As you can see, the lights are on. It is getting dark here at Daytona, so might see some quicker lap times here as that track temp goes down and the lights come on. James making his way down the back straightaway here to start his warm-up lap. And that Rick Ware number 85. As he makes his way off of turn 4 here. Running a pretty good line to start his lap. James, a newcomer to Winstel this year, ran the Cup Series for a while, and then the number 99 Jeff Burton machine. Had a couple of pretty good runs as makes his way through 1 and 2, coming off of turn 2 now. Gets to about that middle line, like I said last night. That's about the line you want to be in if you want to run a fast lap. Into 3 of 4 now. James holding a nice steady line along the yellow line here. We'll see what kind of times everybody's going to turn here tonight. Going to be interesting to see as he's going to make his way through the Geico restart zone. Cut the tri-oval here, and it's going to be a 7.96 for James. Very good lap for James. But as you can see, or I guess can't, but top time now is a 7.35 set by Dylan Roberts. So times have tumbled down here as we plunge our way into darkness.
Yeah, this track has split off massively again between the last race and this one, down to 78-degree track temp as we head into the evening. Going to be more and more exciting. We saw last race, we got 3 or 4 wide at the end because they had a lot more grip. They had a lot more going on, even more so this time. So as you see, Balad Radman posted it from last one. Let's see where he stacks up here. He comes out of turn number 4.
Hopefully Malad has some more luck in this race than what he did in the last event. So we'll see what time it is here. It's going to be a 7.36 from Malad. It's going to put him P3.
Looks like those lap times are pretty representative of guys like Dylan and Brian. Very quick up at the front. As Aaron Smith takes to the pole with a 7.25, putting the benchmark up really high. See the number 19 of Rocky Boyd, the 3, coming around. Number 55 machine of, or 055 machine of Brian A. Hill coming around. He's going to qualify in the number, let's see here, 30th position here. So not a great showing by him there. He comes across the line to run a 46.823. Looks like these will be the final 2 cars to finish their qualifying runs here. We've got a minute and a half left. Only drivers who haven't put in a lap time so far are Jeffrey McClintock, Jose Salas Jr., Ali Osman, Ken Huff, and Kyle Hendrick. Currently none of those drivers are on the speedway.
Yeah, none of them are currently on the track, so it looks like they will not be taking a time. That's quite the strategy, but you got 37 cars in this event, so it's a very big field, larger than the last two events have been, I believe. First one was 30 and the last one was 32. So very interesting to see how many cars are in this one.
Yeah, I mean, a very star-studded field too. This field is made up of people who did not make it through the first 2 heats. So it is a bunch of people who we saw in the first one who we're very familiar with. Very great guys. We got Sean Pellick there, Kevin McAdams, Justin Malillo, Alex Bates, Rocky Boyd, Yusuf Ghali, Brendan Cruz. Again, people like Andy Tripiano, Ryan A. Hill, Ryan Kime, Jeffrey McClintock, and Jose Salas Jr., who's on the last 2 events. Looking at the qualify here. As we are about a minute away from gridding here for the heat number 3, the second chance qualifier for the Winstel 400.
So, Howe, for this race, what's your strategy? You know, it's pretty much the same format as the last 2 races. You know, 12 cars make it 40 laps, but you have that extra factor, about 5 extra cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to add to more draft. It's going to add to more sort of intensity, right? And these are made of people who have already been on track today. They don't have the nerves, and a lot of these guys are probably pretty angry after that last little bit as we get their cars rolled out here. We see Dylan Roberts first to the grid. Always a quick driver, starting off in the P number 3 position. We see Aaron Smith, the pole sitter. His unmistakable number 70 yellow machine. I don't think I've ever seen anything other than a yellow car. Aaron Smith, very, very popular driver. See him in a lot of races. We see the inside line. Run number 1 will be Aaron Smith and Brian Baker. Run number 2 will make up Dylan Robertson's 31 machine. And number 99 of Milad Radman. Run number 3, we have Ryan Doucette and Jonathan Hernandez. Run number 4 will give us Gabriel Mauricio and number 40 machine and the number 51 of Nicholas Doucette. Run number 5 shows us Jake Potak and the number 50 of Christian Budd. Head on back to run number 6. We've got Evan Locke in the 33 machine and Dean Dowsett in number 39. Run number 7 gives us Sean Pellick, strong contender in the last race, as well as Kevin McAdams, another strong contender in the number 26 machine. Row 8 gives us Jackson Sims in the 79 and the number 6 of Matt Skipper. Row 9 gives us Justin Below and Alex Bates in the number 8 machine. Row 10 gives us Rocky Boyd in the 16 and number 12 of Chris Champeau. In row 11, we have Thomas Harmon, number 68, and number 23, longtime Winstel regular, Anthony Krobach. Row 12, we have Yusuf Ghali and Brandon Cruz Montevice, who we had in the booth earlier. Row 13 gives us Andy Tripiano in the 34 and James Bowl in the number 85 machine. Row 14 gives us Olivia Hayward in 72 and the number 20 car of Miles Davis. Row 15, we have Spencer Owens in the 24 and the 055 of Ryan A. Hill. And Ryan Kime in the 21 machine and Jill's Chatelain in the number 97, row 16. Row 17, we have Jose Salas Jr. and Ali Osmond electing to qualify. Row 18 gives us Jeffrey McClintock and Kyle Hendricks. Rounding out our field in the last starting position will be Ken Huff, electing not to qualify in his number 55 machine. We head down the back straight away. These guys leaving around, getting heat in their tires, trying to find a way to get the way to the front, to keep their track position, and to stay out of the troubles and the pitfalls they had in that first event they had earlier today. Each of these guys has had 40 laps on track in their heats, and now are on the outside looking in. They do not want to miss out here. The intensity is going to be ramped up even higher. The talent ceiling is even higher in most of these cases. A lot of these guys were up front at the end and got taken out. We see last race's pole sitter, Milad Radman's here. Front runners, Gabe Ramuccio, Dylan Roberts. We saw Sean Pellick, a bunch of drivers who had bad luck inching their way forward now. Lots of experience, lots of fireworks. They come down to the green. Pace truck is off. Head to the Geico restart zone. And we have a green flag in the air. Aaron Smith leads off. The flashballs are in the air as they thunder to the tribal for 40 laps of racing here at Daytona.
One thing I kind of really just want to point out, this is pretty much just a Winstel race. I mean, 40 laps, a bunch of Winstel regulars in here. This is, might as well just call this the Cup Series. As Aaron Smith going to lead him off here to start. He's going to lead that outside line. We already got 3 wide racing there towards the back, I believe. Already a couple getting shuffled out as well. But Aaron Smith going to lead him off here into turn 3.
You make a good point there. This is a big contention of Winstel drivers, which seems like a great idea on paper. You know, you have your teammates and all that, but what happens if you're lined up, you know, say 5th through 13th? What happens to that last guy who's in that line, who's outside that transfer position? Are they going to have to race themselves to transfer through? Is it going to get cutthroat? How is it going to work out with your teammates up here, or I guess pseudo teammates, racing against them? It's so heavy packed in this 40 lap event.
It's a very good point to make. It's going to be tough to, you know, I always say you want friends in these, but you don't want too many friends, because you know you get too many friends and it just kind of gets confusing on what you can and can't do to, you know, certain people, you know.
There is definitely a point where it's too many cooks in the kitchen. We'll see Matt Skipper being bold here with Brandon Cruz Montevich, two drivers who usually don't seem to be very bold. And Cruz told us earlier he wasn't going to be that bold driver, but they're going 3 wide early, trying to make it to the spots. We see James Bowles split them to the outside.
I believe there's been some history there too between those two, so interesting thing to keep an eye on.
Most of these drivers are also, you bring up a good point, these are not guys who have a clean slate coming into it. They're mad at somebody, mad at something that happened to them to put them outside the top 12, versus in the last race where it's just fresh out of the weekend. The slate's clean, you're not mad at anybody now. There's probably some minus 40 rivals, some plus 60 allies, so watch people to want to work with other people and be mad at other people as the night progresses.
It's a fantastic point. It's a lead pack here, 2x2 for the most part. A little bit of 3x3 towards the back, but kind of a little bit of a calm start here. They're 3x3, but it's not a crazy 3x3. As I say that, though, they are getting a little wacky and wild back there.
See the number on board with Sean Pelling on the number 17 machine as he hits R2 to share draft the car ahead of him. Currently 11th, really at the end of that transposition. He's really not going to be satisfied here. As we saw last race, he was about to spot within the last lap, and fortunately about to spot here, he was going backwards into turn number 3.
And that's fresh on the mind for a lot of these guys. And not a lot of time between Heat 2 and this second chance race. So interesting to see, you know, what could be minus 40 rivals, potentially minus 60, because it's so fresh on the mind.
Absolutely, you know, I mean, I don't know if that would be a benefit or a detriment to have to come out of the car directly and not have that cooldown period, you know. A lot of times it's good to be able to have that fire, have that drive, but also it's a lot of times to be good to have that hour between you to watch that Heat 2 and calm down and recompose yourself when we hit this second chance race.
That's exactly correct, as Aaron Smith still leading this race on that outside line. Like Sean said, you know, he and Dylan were sticking that outside line. Dylan's up there right now, but Sean not up there. He's on that low line as the leader of that bottom line, Jonathan Hernandez. Haven't talked about him yet so far. Jonathan running under caution now. We got a crash in the back.
Oh my, several
big
cars
crash.
involved.
Alex Bates, that 53 car, Justin Malolo, Andy Trepiano.
I'm assuming that probably would have started in probably near Ali Osman, maybe. I think it was the first car I saw sideways in that, but I'm not sure why.
See what happens here, as it looked like the 20 car got turned potentially by, I'm not sure if we got the replay on it yet, but from what I'm seeing, it looks like the 20 car got turned by Matt Skipper.
I saw Matt Skipper go 3 wide pretty aggressively mid-pack, so that sounds probably about where I was looking.
Second gear is
We see number 70 machine of Aaron Smith lead the field to the green there, or turning not to the green, but to take lap number 7 to yellow. Still too early to make a pit stop. Probably about 10 laps too soon, I'd assume. We kind of roll around here. Several cars involved. A lot of cars trying to fix damage. Probably still too early to take a fast repair, I'd assume, unless you have a significant amount of damage.
I agree, Howe, as unfortunately,
You see the replay here. Looks like Max Skipper gets into the right rear of the 20 car, and then no place for most of these guys to go here as they come across the grass. Several cars involved.
unfortunate for a lot of these guys is they might have to take that fast repair early. One fast repair for this event, but you know, you hate to have to take that at lap 5, so a lot of these guys might just sit on pit road and try to get some of their damage repaired, but it's always, always, always so important that you just try to keep out of that trouble early in these races.
Absolutely. As we see on our screen, several cars are involved in this. Didn't see really any major damage, but obviously a lot of cars got turned sideways there pretty early on. We cut back to our leaders here, coming about probably 1 to go here. See, most cars have stayed out. Didn't see really any significant cars take any fast repairs, I don't think. See a couple cars back there with a little bit of damage to their cars still, but nobody, I believe, is out of this race yet.
Now, if you do have to take that fast repair now, what do you do for the rest of this race? Do you try to just get up front and stay up front, or do you just try to ride? Take me through that, Hal. What's your thought behind that?
Well, I'd assume most of these guys who are involved in that wreck and had to take a fast repair were either riding or already back there, so I wouldn't be one to think that I would want to take that risk. I would get back up to the front and try to stay there, you know? I'd much rather be wrecked in 10th than, you know, not make it in 20th if I didn't battle hard enough.
I completely agree with that. That is a fantastic point. I've learned a lot over these last few years. I've done that strategy where, you know, you get wrecked and you stay in the back, and it's just, I always find myself, you know, still getting wrecked in the back. So, you know, recently I've been kind of turning up the dial a little bit, trying to stay up towards the front, and if I wreck, I'd like to get wrecked up front.
Yeah, wrecked in the back, wrecked in the front, rather get wrecked in the front, to be honest, but I found, honestly, I don't get wrecked nearly as much as when I'm racing up front aggressively than when I'm just sitting in the back and riding, because, you know, if you're racing up front and you're being aggressive, the crashes have to, you know, be coming from you and people around you. If you're in the back, though, the crash isn't in your lap. You know, you've got the rest of the field behind you plowing in who can't really slow down, and then you've got a group of cars ahead of you who are dead sideways ahead of you that you have to avoid too. So you're really going to lose position back there because you have no track position and you have everyone around you crashing. So
it's not a win-win.
It is not a win-win.
Not a win-win.
Nope, no teammates, no advantage to it.
All right, getting ready to take the green here, coming out of 4. Pace truck should be coming in here pretty soon. Aaron Smith, Dylan Roberts, Jonathan Hernandez, Brian Baker, Gabriel Mauricio going to be your top 5.
Pace truck holds down. Head towards the Geico restart zone. The sky is completely dark. And it is time to bring the action to the fireworks here as Aaron Smith gets a great launch on the restart. Probably too big of one. Dylan Robertson, the number 3 of Brian
separate
Baker.
That bottom line.
It does.
He's going to go up to that top line.
Up to the top. Will Dylan, when he gets to him, either push him or will he? That is a regular Winstel favorite, so I assume he'll probably push him and try to gap the field here instead of trying to leave him out to dry. He will do that. You see Hernandez and Gabe on the bottom. Oh, we got more contact in the back. I don't know. We got a car sideways. We do have a crash.
Another crash in the back.
It looked like the 24 machine. We still see more contact being made. Lead, yes, a 24 car.
24 car. Spencer R. Owens. See what happens to Spencer here down the back straightaway. Looked like a bunch of them just got squirrely, and he was just the unfortunate victim of all that.
Yeah, it looks like a big checkup on the top side. We went to drop it back a couple more seconds to kind of get an idea of what happened. As we look from above here, yeah, they see Chris Champeau get into the back of Christian Budd, and then they stack up behind him, and then bang, bang, bang.
That turns the 99 into the 24, and then the 24 goes around, and everybody scatters.
Great job avoiding him, though, from most of these guys, but unfortunately, the 24 was the one who paid the price again. I think something similar happened to him in his heat race, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he got turned started in a similar manner. Not of his doing.
Unlucky there for Spencer, as I believe. Hold on 1 second. We've had the 72 car of Olivia Hayward get disqualified for an incident under yellow. Try to find out what that is.
Looking back, it looks like she'd gotten into the 26 car of Kevin McAdams and turned him into the wall.
Turned him into the wall down the front straightaway. Unfortunate.
That was weird.
I'm not sure what that was all about.
I believe she was probably getting to the bottom there to get in line. It's not paying attention. I believe that was under this caution here, actually, so...
And that's
very strange set of
unfortunate.
Circumstances.
Unfortunate for Kevin McAdams. That's going to give him a little bit of damage. That might slow him down a little bit. So,
yeah, one of the Winstel
unfortunate thing to happen under caution.
One of the guys who looked to win either the heat or this race has been given significant damage for very, very odd incident.
Let's go through a little bit of a top 10 rundown here. First place, Aaron Smith in the number 70 yellow machine. Second place goes to the number 31, Dylan Roberts. Third place, the number 3, Brian Baker 3. Fourth place, the number 5, Jonathan Hernandez. Fifth place would go to the 66, Jacob Potak. Sixth place would go to the number 40 of Gabriel Mauricio. Seventh place, Evan Locke in the number 33 Coors Light machine. Eighth place would go to the number 77 of Ryan Doucette in that iconic Zoop House machine. And P9, not his brother, not related, Nicholas Doucette, number 51. And rounding out your top 10 will be the number 17 of Sean Pelleg.
Also should point out that Jackson Sims and 11th and Christian Budd are the last two transfers currently. And as we're coming around to complete lap number 11 and start lap number 12, we're kind of getting to that almost range where you can start thinking about fuel and get maybe one more caution. I'd probably think about pitting and getting that fuel topped off to make it to the end, like they did in heat number 2. Still probably a little bit too early to just kind of pull that Bobby Gerhart strategy as we come around to get probably one the green here.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see if these guys maybe calm down a little bit. I mean, we've had two pretty quick yellows here in succession, so hopefully these guys can get it together a little bit. But again, this maybe for some guys might be their second chance. You know, some of these guys might not be able to make the last chance qualifier tomorrow night, but you know, might be able to make the big race. So some of these guys, they got to be real aggressive.
Absolutely. I mean, there is no chance to not be aggressive in this race, honestly. I mean, you have got to be at the front because every one of these drivers knows the game now. They have been through their heats. They know what happens if you're not. These guys are not going to give up the top 12 position. They're not going to be gentle and riot. They have got to go every chance they get. Exactly.
As of course, you and I were actually in this race last year. I believe I won, and I think you finished. I believe you were either second or third. But yeah, I believe we employed the strategy of staying towards the front, and I believe that's the strategy that's going to work tonight. And I think these guys up in the top 10 are really putting that to good use.
Yeah, I remember that very well. We definitely were aggressive. We went up the middle a lot. We went 3 wide a lot. We had the fight our way forward. And then in the final couple restarts, did a great job working together in the tandem and making sure to just defend their positions and stay up there and a lot of, and remember, 12 cars make it through this race, so if you're first, second, third coming out of turn number 4, you really shouldn't be aggressive. You shouldn't invite crashes to your door. I think a lot of people got caught up in trying to win a race when really the only thing they should have done was, you know, bring it to the line in the last heat number 2. Heat number 1, they kind of sorted out and let it be, but you can't throw away a position to transfer if you're gonna, for a chance to gain, you know, another spot or 2. I know that's the racer brain, but you got to really turn that off and be smart when it comes to the end here. As the pace truck go down. Guys
learn their lesson as pace truck's in, yeah, and we're gonna get the green flag here. Green flag in the air.
Aaron Smith once again gets a very good restart. Dylan Roberts a little bit better this time though when he gets a bit of a car length gap there. C barely clear there. Head off into turn number 1. We're gonna have a reconfiguration what we had last time with Dylan Roberts getting to the, oh, we got another crash.
Oh my goodness.
See, not sure how it caused this, but we got several cars wrecked pretty hard before we even got to turn 1. See what happened here. It was a little bit further back in the field. Yes, the first car sideways being the 21 car, it looks like. Or is that the 51 of Nick Doucette?
I believe it's the 21. Yeah, 21.
21 of Ryan Kime. So, yeah, same car between the Doucette and Kime. Can't really see the number. They would see him get sideways. I don't know if Jose got into the back of him there to turn him sideways, but
I believe that was the 34 of Andy Tripiano. And, yeah, it looked like a big
Jose
stack up there on the back.
The bottom gets into him, and then up the track goes Bates. Several cars damaged in this one. It looks like another stack up, though. There, you saw that black car ahead of them, the number.
And if you're these guys back here, you really got to get your head screwed back on, man. You're running out of time, and if you keep having yellows, you're not going to get anywhere near the front.
It looks like we rolled this forward. I think it was a 16 of Rocky Boyd. Checks up a little bit here. Checks ahead of him. They kind of all stack up again. And then bang, 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 bang. There goes the crash. And you see several cars up there crashing. Lots of cars who have had multiple accidents at this point now. Who have significant damage. I think Cruz has been involved in every wreck so far. Fortunate for him, he's got a significant amount of damage. So, reset again. And I believe at this point now, I'd be pitting for fuel. Brian Baker, the first
Brian Baker, first one to pull off. It looked like a bunch of those guys behind him wanted to try, but they missed it.
Yeah, because we're coming to lap 15 now, and I don't think we're going to be spending the same amount of time under green from here on out. So I want to get fuel now and get that over with, right? You don't want to come up to the end and have to pit with 10 to go. Should probably just see either fuel only or maybe too tired to see Ryan Doucette taking the right sides. Most everyone else just fuel only here as Ryan and Brian are going to lose a couple spots here. They're going to take 4. That's, I don't know that I'd have done that. Look at how many spots these guys lose.
So much track position there. Oh my goodness. Brian Baker's going to be pretty much the last car off at pit road.
Yeah,
came in first, came out last.
I don't know that I like that call for 4 tires. I like to call it a pit there because
get your
here only about 10 cars on track still, but I don't like to call it and not take, or to only take 2 or go fuel only there. I think that was the only really call that made sense.
Yeah, but also, you got these front 10 cars, they chose to stay out. I'm not, like you said, I'm not sure about that. I feel like I would have come down here, maybe gotten my fuel right now while you could potentially be good. But yeah, we'll see how this works out. We'll see how this plays out. I mean, this race has had a pretty good rash of yellows. I think we went the crazy heat. I think we just got the crazy second chance race.
Absolutely, but at the same time, you really can't stretch this fuel long enough to really make it sense to stay out this long. I mean, let's say we get another quick succession caution, I don't think these guys behind them will top up, and I don't think it makes sense to stay out this caution because now, if you're Aaron Smith, you get into the caution, you're now at best 15th and you stop. And you're going to have less than 20 to go.
Yep.
Or, worst comes to worst and, we stay green, they have a guaranteed green flag stop now.
Absolutely.
And even if these guys behind him who did stop have to pit again on their green flag stop, they don't want to be taking a very quick splash of fuel, which we saw in heat number 1 gave a lot of guys a really big advantage. That was only after about 6 laps of fuel at the start of the race. So
I gotta point out here, we're really laying down the hammer here in the admin booth. We got Tyler giving these guys a little bit of a pep talk, and hopefully after this we can get some green flag racing.
When Tyler gets on the horn, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's like you hear him talking over race control. You did something wrong. So hopefully these guys will listen, and hopefully we can get some green flag racing.
But we see this every year in this race, so it's a second chance race. It's basically the last real chance to make significant cars through to the field, because tomorrow, the last chance qualifier, only a couple cars advance from that, so it's really not a great shot. It's just a last chance aspiration. So this race is really the last real chance you have at making the field. So guys back there in the back are going to be very aggressive, very impatient, and we see it here every year where they, it bites them.
It absolutely does. As coming into 3 here, Aaron Smith and Dylan Roberts going to make up the front row.
Look at that outside line, though. Look at that outside line. It's the first 4 cars are all Winstel drivers. 5 cars on the outside line. Winstel drivers.
That's quite the line.
Gabe, Evan, Nick, and Bud. All 5 cars lined up on the top side. I do not want to be on the inside line on this restart.
Yeah, another Winstel regular on the inside line as well. John Hernandez and Sean Peleg. Jake Potak also races Winstel. So a lot of Winstel up at the front here. Hopefully they can. Hopefully we can see some magic.
They come down again for another green flag. Good restart for Aaron. Not as good as he's gotten in the past. He's not going to have a chance to jump. Dylan doesn't look like so. See a side-by-side battle as they head off to turn 1. Gabe gets to the back of Dylan. See Hernandez solidly in the back of Aaron. He's going to be given a big shot to turn number 1. Now to turn number 2.
Big shot here. He's going to push Aaron into the lead, and he's going to jump up to that outside line immediately. He knows where his friends are.
That outside line is stellar right now. If I was in this field, I'd be in the top line right now. There's no place else to be. See, Jose changing the first car. There's 3 wide. He knows what to do. He's in the outside line. He sees his friends up there.
He's gonna put it up on his shoulder, and he's gonna try to get up towards the front.
Inside line not falling back though. Potak and Hernandez on the inside line are doing a great job pushing and staying with these guys on the top line. And then Sean Peleg there in third with Milad Radman on the 99 machine, the pole sitter for heat number 2.
Yeah, I think you are honestly sleeping on that bottom line, because I tell you what, there's some pretty good cats down there. You got Jonathan Hernandez, and honestly, the front 3 or 4 cars are pretty good down there. So I'm not surprised that they're hanging on a little bit.
I've been wrong about this inside line all night long. I thought it wouldn't be great, but pretty much dominated heat number 2 there, and heat number 1 they had a good job on the inside line. So maybe the inside line not as treacherous as it has been in the past, with the cars being able to push more aggressively, not having as much issues with the old damage funnel like we had in the past. See Sean Peleg on board here, rattling around through the tri-oval. See Chevrolet this year for the first time in a long time is Michigan Wolverine Chevrolet. He gets about 201 miles an hour in the turn number 1.
Of course, Rose Bowl champions, Michigan Wolverines. Congrats to them and everybody. And is Evan like really squeezing his way onto the bottom there? Oh my goodness!
What a jump scare!
What a move that was, on board with Milad Radman right as Evan was making that move.
Absolutely wild circumstances there as he barely squeezed in there to get to the bottom. Again, proving me wrong. People are going for that bottom. They like the bottom line. I'm still not sold on it, but I guess I haven't been out there. Absolutely. That's one of the disadvantages of being in our position, isn't it, Parker? We don't know what these guys know now.
Exactly. We don't know. These guys are going to get 80 laps of racing experience in their belts before they get the chance to run 160 tomorrow. So they're going to have plenty of practices. Allie Osman really shooting his way up the middle. right behind our onboard machine, Justin Malillo, really trying to make that middle work, but he's, I believe, hung out to dry.
Yeah, he's falling back pretty swiftly there as he made it move there aggressively, trying to make spots up, but now he's getting the push from behind, and he's going to make up a little bit of ground here. Maybe get the inside line, or middle lane organized, I should say. See the frozen machine on Tim Harmon on his inside, as he pulls him back. See Ryan Carmen to his outside, the 21 machine. Not really making up much ground, but still, as the outside line checks up, you see this how it really ebbs and flows, though. You know, the outside line has to check up a lot. Usually when it's the dominant line, the inside line also checks up or has to get the side draft back. So now,
yep, there he goes.
As being back to where he was a lap ago, outside of the 53 machine of Justin Malillo, and now he's going to get side draft again by the 77 of Ryan Doucette. And we ebb and flow once more.
Yeah, Jose Solis Jr. and Ryan Doucette going to jump their way down to that bottom line. Now going to leave the line open for Ryan Keim up there in that 23 machine of Anthony Krobach. As you see on your screen here, Ali Osman on board. Is now we're back up front here with Aaron Smith, looking back at Dylan Roberts and Jonathan Hernandez, and the rest of the snarling pack behind them.
This is exactly what you would be looking up in the mirror and seeing. It's just the Team Delphius Chevrolet behind you, and then just everybody else behind you here. As we head through the tri-oval left in turn one, getting a big shot from that snout of Dylan Roberts.
Best seat in the house.
A little bit treacherous. So we see a little bit of damage. He's been. That's what you would have seen in the front of the car, some damage. It means he's been beating bumpers and really being aggressive. It was from a roof high above Aaron Smith's machine.
And taking a look at that giant-ass spoiler, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. said that one time, as I believe these are, what, 9-inch blades with a little bit of a wicker bill on them there?
They are beautiful, beautiful blades. We got 8 inches of steel and another couple inches of Lexan and a big-ass wicker bill. Absolutely what you would see in the back of your race car at Daytona.
Yeah,
still pretty quiet in the back of the field. Not much going on. Still 2x2.
I tell you that, Tyler, you get that Tyler Head words of encouragement, and these guys settle down a little bit. Now we're getting into a pretty good rhythm here, a pretty good race.
I want to point out, remember, the top 10 or so have not stopped yet. We are now approaching 23, 25 to the end of the field run. Of course, mileage extended a little bit by those cautions, but these guys are going to be out of fuel soon. So they're going to have to make green flag stops if we're not careful here. Which we talked about prior. We didn't like that call to stay out there. We didn't like that call at all. And now the prophecy may come true where it bites them and they have to, you know, come down pit road here.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, if I'm those guys in the top 10, I hear Tyler giving that pep talk, I'm coming down pit lane. Because I know we're going green.
He started pep talking on 1 to green.
Oh, never mind. We got a crash in the back. I believe it might be Spencer R. Owens again. We'll have to take a look. It looked like he was one of the cars that got sideways.
I see Ryan set sideways on the apron. Not sure why.
It looks like...
Watch this 12 machine of Andy Scipiano and the Ryan Doucette machine on the bottom there, the two-plates machine. I believe these are the first two to make contact.
Absolutely correct, as it looks like it.
I think that might have been netcode. Andy came down and was trying to side draft, but it looks like it might have been netcode there, which is unfortunate for Ryan. Turned it back in front of the Brian Baker machine, and now not lucky for these guys behind him, but not many people involved here, it looks like. They head off in the turn number 1. Good job once again. As we're getting word from the admin booth that Christian Poe is going to be disqualified for that one. They're going to say that was on him.
I don't know if I agree with that. There was about a foot of net code, but the admin word is final. So unfortunately, Chris Champeau will be parked for the evening.
Yeah, it might be good to look at that one more time, maybe see a little bit of a closer angle and see what happened there.
He is coming down a little bit, but there's about a foot of net code there, so I don't know about disqualifying him for that, but admin word is final, and that's unfortunately the decision they made.
Let's see if we can get zoom in a little bit on this one. Get some ABN Exmo. A little bit closer look
chopper
here.
Cam.
The neck looks less significant than that one. Maybe if we got an onboard, maybe Kevin McAdams, I think that might be a good viewpoint.
Might be a good viewpoint, yeah.
Here. See him side drafting aggressively here. Kind of the game. This is where we were on board with go on board with Kevin McAdams
Yeah,
and the Doritos machine.
Here. Yeah, we'll see. See what Kevin sees here. Yeah, he's coming down the track. Okay, I see it. There's still his net code,
for sure, but I think that was going to happen
down.
regardless. Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunate situation. Unfortunately, that takes some guys out of the race, and we see now, as we talked about earlier, our leaders coming down pit road, giving Winstel regular Christian Bud in his Winstel machine out front. This is going to shake up a lot of things here because now an entirely new top 10. We haven't seen any of these guys up the front yet. It's been led entirely by Aaron. Has anyone led a lap today other than Aaron Smith? I don't think.
I don't think so. So new leader for the first time, I believe. As try to find where Aaron's going to restart here. It looks like he's going to be about possibly 18th, I believe, for Aaron. So lost a lot of track position in that play to not pit.
Yeah, I don't like that call. Like I said earlier, I don't like that call at all.
Yeah, now unfortunately you only have looks like going to be 13 to go to make your way back up there.
And it's going to not be easy to make your way back up there, right? Like these guys aren't giving quarters, or not. They're not giving you spots. Now we see guys like Jose Salas Jr., Christian Bud up there, like Aaron. Yeah,
Jose's going to be aggressive. Lap. Yeah, they better watch out for him because. You get Jose up there, it's gonna be hard to get him out of there. Unless he wrecks himself. Don't do it, Jose.
While we're in the lull of the caution, I want to thank all the people who made this possible. I want to thank Brandon Cruz DFS, E83 Flying Machines for sponsoring the Winstel 400. I want to thank all the viewers at home watching this great event here. Sticking benefits are all from the tonight. What?
You just thank yourself.
No, I thank my company.
Oh, okay.
That's why I have a company now.
So you thank yourself.
I thank myself for putting together an LLC and.
It's like that Obama meme, giving the medal to himself.
Hey, your friends where you find them. If it's it's on the screen right there. Look at the bottom left. That big old E83 Flying Machines Duel. But, want to again thank all the viewers back at home. Been a long night tonight. Some great racing action. Hopefully, you're seeing a good show. Chat, who do you think is going to win this race? Let's hear some predictions in chat. You're out there. You see, we are on one to go here. Doubled up. Running through our top 12 scoring has settled out. Currently, transposition is Spencer R. Owens in that 24 machine. Ahead of him, Gilles Chatelain, the 97. Brian Baker in 10th. Kevin McAdams in 9th. Andy Trippiani in 8th. Justin Malillo 7th. Jose Salas Jr. Rocky Boyd in 6th and 5th. Vlad Radman in 4th. Dean Dowsett in 3rd. Jackson Sims in the 79 in 2nd. And Christian Budd will lead him here to the green on the outside line.
One thing I do want to point out is Aaron Smith and all those other guys that elected to pit right there, they're going to start 17th on back. So big hole to dig out of here in the last 13 laps.
Yeah, that's tough. I think that was really short-sighted of them to stay out there when they did. I really do not like that call. I think it's going to cost a bunch of Winstel drivers a chance here because all the Winstel guys, for the most part, outside of Bud and Jose, are out there riding out back behind the transfer spot.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough as the green flag is back in the air here, and we're green at Daytona for the last 13 laps of this second chance showdown.
Oh my, Malillo and that was almost a repeat of what we had earlier a couple times.
Man.
See, again, I don't like that call of being back there because now that's going to check up that inside line and push Aaron Smith and those guys further back. I really got to question that call, but they thunder off of turn number 2. Christian Budd leading the outside of Milan Radman. Jackson Sims still leading the inside line, that pink super slow machine. They thunder into the back straightaway coming, the 12 to go.
Well, one car blinking down in that bottom, I believe. Not sure who that is. I believe it is E16 or Rocky Boyd. That Bottom line, looking a little spread out there. About a car length gap in between Malillo and that 16 car is still blinking.
Yeah, that was 16 of Rocky Boy blinking, but Kevin McAdams made a move to the middle, and it really hurt his effective FTF teammate of Malillo in the 53 machine. See, Malillo jumps out and almost puts Nick in the wall there as they're getting really aggressive for that around that transfer spot. This is right around where it is.
Around that spot, you got to watch out for his. Oh, McAdams made a big move in the back, got a lot of spots, but he's going to get checked up behind the 53 car.
Well, I think that was his plan. I think that they're teammates in FTF, and so they're going to be working together here in the middle. But last time they kind of mistimed it and kind of cost them some spots, and we see Cruz working his way back forward again after being in about every race.
Here we go, a lot of cars running this top line. I think we might get to see the old Pied Piper line here.
That's a definite possibility. We'll see kind of some of the Winstel gang up there and Christian Bud leading around the speedway. Everyone good on fuel now. So it's just an all-out race to the end, I believe.
Oh, big check up top, and that bottom line now is going to get a run.
That's how this always organizes. If you're not calling those checks, not really prepared for them, you start checking it big time at the top and giving an inside line more and more momentum. And we see Justin Malillo still trying that middle line, getting his teammate and buddy, Kevin McAdams up behind him. Not making it much ground, though, as they battle with the remnants of the inside line.
Yeah, it's really kind of messing up that inside line actually being 3x3 because they're so far back. You got about 10 or 12 cars lined up top before you get to the first car in the middle 3x3 there. So it's really kind of backing these guys up a little bit.
Yeah, they need to commit to one or the other at this point. We'll see Malillo and McAdams move to that bottom line, and they do commit.
But the issue with that is you got a lot of people back here who are trying to go. You can't just ride around and kind of wait for the opportunity. You have to make your moves, and you got to do them now.
Okay, now they're moving forward again. They're getting organized again. They're making a lot of ground. We're going to probably see some good 3x3 battling here at the front. They've moved up to where Rocky Boyd is on the inside line, the second, third car. Oh, wild in the third three. Kevin McAdams pushes Malillo up the hill, almost into the door of Dylan Roberts. Again, a lot of movement to not make much ground. They've only got about one spot out of all this jockeying and shuffling.
Oh, we got a crash! Big crash! Big crash up front. They're still wrecking.
Oh,
still sideways. Ali Osment sideways in front of the pack now. Gabriel Mauricio sideways. Big crash.
Malillo turned, I believe, I don't know who it was.
Oh, my goodness.
Into the outside line, and we just had a calamity in the tri-oval. Oh, goodness.
And that's what happens when you get new people up front. Possibly a little bit of a lights too bright situation. And we get at least this big crash.
Looking from high above, you see D-New set in the 39 machine, the white and red car, and Malillo in the 53. It looks like they tried to make the same move at the same time and just right into the lap of Dylan Roberts and Gabe Mauricio and all these guys. Jake Potek on the outside wall hard. Hernandez.
All these guys that came down pit road late.
That's why I hate that call. I've thought about it all night. I hate that call to pit late because look at this. This is all the guys who were up front 5 laps ago. This is a picture of the top 10 from lap 15. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You hate to see it right at the front of the field. I don't really know who I'd say at fault for that, but what a humongous crash on the front of the field. Just hooked dead right and just no place for these guys to go. You'll see from the drone cameras. Look at this chaos as they come across the line. Cars everywhere, people scattering, just unbelievable crashing here. Ugh. Yeah.
Alex Bates involved again. I believe that's the second incident he's been involved in, so unfortunately might have already used that fast repair. Hopefully not, but fortunate night for Bates and the rest of these Winstel guys. Honestly, it's been a tough night for the Winstel group.
It has been, but I think a lot of this is just from their own as we ride on board with Justin Malillo there. Hard crash for him.
Hard lick.
A lot of this is from their own doing, I hate to say, but a lot of bad strategy calls, a lot of missing the mark on pit strategy, you know. If they wouldn't have been back here because of pit strategy, they wouldn't have been involved in this crash having worked there before. We see James Ball's doing a great job getting to the inside here.
One person I'd also like to point out potentially is Sean Peleg. He made his way through that. He was farther back than what Dylan was, so great avoiding than what great avoiding by Sean there.
See Ryan Kime fly through the grass here as well. Just oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, you hate to see that. The Green avoided the main track and then just collected at the very end too. So let's see how this restacks our top 10 here. Because a lot of drivers involved in the front of the pack here. So as we let scoring play out, currently we have the 50 of Christian Budd as the leader, Vlad Radman in second, Jose Salas Jr. in third.
Let's go.
Eddie Tripiano in fourth, Brian Baker in third, or fifth, sorry. Too many threes on that one. Spencer Rose on 24 and sixth. Nick Doucette has recovered nicely to seventh. Jackson Sims in that Superflow machine in eighth. Rocky Boyd, nice job up here up front all day in ninth. Mick Adams from getting turned earlier and a couple accidents to now be in 10th. And then Jill Chatelain in the number 97 machine, now 11th. And Jonathan Hernandez in that 5 machine was up front all day and now relegated to 12th at the transfer position.
There's Sean Pellig, Brandon Cruz Montsevice in that 54 car in the booth earlier.
All these drivers
Heat
outside
1.
of the top 12, outside of the transfer positions. Now, Aaron Smith, who led 25 laps, is now 18th.
Yeah, it's a raw deal sometimes, this racing, and fortunately for some of these guys, they got bit. As the 55 car of Ryan Hill, Anthony Krobach there in the 23. Evan Locke caught up in that. He's back here towards the back half of the field. So was Jake Potak, Gabriel Mauricio there in the 40. Dylan Roberts in the 31, heavy hitter, also involved, as well as Ali Osman.
It's like all these guys have taken their fast repairs.
Have.
So they come to the line here to take one to green.
Looks like Christian Budd chose the outside.
They're going to have a 5 to go restart here. And, you know, obviously for guys like Bud, Jose, who had that early pit stop and are now back at the front, you're loving this. This seems easy. You just ride it out. Guys who led all those laps like Dylan and Aaron, now they're really far at the back.
Yeah, now they got to work for it, and now they got to scratch and claw for everything they got. Gonna be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I've personally got my eye on the 31 car and the 40. I think they're going to be interesting to watch on this restart. They're restarting, I believe, 21st and 22nd respectively. Yeah, they got 9 and 10 spots to gain together, and hopefully we'll see if they can do it. They're the ones that I definitely got my eye on though.
I agree with that analysis as we head down the back straightaway one more time. It'll become the 5 to go for the restart. Once again, doubt that we take all 5 laps under green, but if we do, it will be an absolute brawl to decide it out.
I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see what Bud and Milad can do here. And and I've also got my eye on that car in third, Jose Salas Jr. Lots of people I got my eye on right now.
I mean, the whole field you got to have your eye on at this point, because you got the battle for the lead, which, as we learned in heat number 2, should be tame, but sometimes isn't. And then just that clump of cars back there around 12th who are all trying to root and gouge to get back to the front and stay out of the danger.
Alrighty, here we go. Pace truck is in. 5 laps to go here in the second chance race. Green flag is in the air. Christian Budd's going to leave him off. Milad Radman to his inside. We're rolling here at Daytona.
See them now thunder off in the turn number 1. Christian Budd and that outside line is really getting that push from Andy Tripiano, but the inside line coming back there with Solace aggressive on the bumper at Milad Radman. Inside line prevailing a little bit off of turn number 2, but the outside line with big momentum as Brian Baker not really stable back there, looking around. Is 3 wide in the back already. Is several cars jockeying around, almost 4 wide in places, and Cruz in the sucker hole in the middle.
Man, Cruz really tried to make a move up the middle. It did not work out for him. He got caught in the sucker hole, and he's going backwards in a hurry. Oh, Schulte gonna try to make a move up to that middle line. He makes it work, but contact with in the 97.
That's gonna shuffle things around massively, as I don't know how they held on to it. Sean has a moment.
And now we're getting even more sideways. The 90 or the 79 got shuffled out. Jackson Sims, he's gonna make his way back to the bottom. Malo's gonna cross him up, put himself in the middle with Aaron Smith.
We'll see again. Kevin McAdams and
a lot of people going for that middle line right now, and it's really not looking like it's gonna pay off. Oh my goodness!
Barely a hole for McAdams there as they shuffle again. Not very stable off the bumper. Malo there in the 24. We see who is that? Is that
Nick Doucette? Jumps up to the top line. He's gonna look to take the lead here. Coming to 3 to go.
Want to note that our restart leader Christian Bud's getting shuffled back a little bit, but not going to be aggressive.
A lot of people going for the same hole in the pack. It's a wonder they're making it work.
These guys are so aggressive.
Goodness.
And you have to be, right?
Very aggressive.
There's no ability not to be. Like Christian Bud, not known to be aggressive. He's getting shuffled back little by little. He is not safe anymore. Restart in the front.
Absolutely not.
We see Sean Pellick starting pretty far in the back. He has now made himself a little bit safer as he gets in the back.
That inside line, though, got really checked up, really stacked up. That's going to put Sean, and Kevin McAdams just put Sean 3 wide. That's going to get him bogged down a lot. Is that Rocky Boyd's blinking again? Oh!
Sideways!
McAdams gets a shot.
Somehow, again, they save it.
Look who's about 8th in line at the top. Dylan Roberts. I had my eye on him, and I was absolutely correct. He's put himself up here into a transfer spot with 2 laps to go.
Sean, who was in the transfer a few laps ago, is now moved back. Brian Baker, who was up front of that Rocky Boyd machine, is not being a great pusher. The round is sideways. Saves it. We stay green. More shuffling, more aggressiveness. Look how far back our leader, Aaron Smith, was, who led 25 laps, all the way in the back of this pack. This is... Again, look back there. We got Gabe. We got Sean in the middle. This transition is not safe at all. It's so much ebbing and flowing. Alex Bates, we haven't heard from all day, is now coming into transfer contention.
Absolutely snarling pack as we take the white flag. Looked like they were about to go 4 wide there for a second. Oh my goodness, a huge pack here as we got, I believe that is Nick Doucette up here in the lead, but that's not what matters. What matters is the top 12. They're 3 by 3 back here trying to decide who gets it.
I think that top line will probably stay pretty organized up there. I think that bottom couple of cars won't make much.
Oh, we got a crash! Sean Pellick around! Get Mauricio around! Big crash! Oh my goodness!
Gets the transfer now.
Who's gonna get it?
Let's look further back.
I think it's right here in the main pack. I think whoever's gonna get it is in the main pack. As to the line, it's going to be Nick Doucette getting the win. Who's going to get the transfer? It looks like the 20 car of Miles Davis is going to be the last car to enter from the second chance showdown.
What a wild final 5 laps. They crashed about 7 times before they finally crashed. Nick Doucette gets the win here.
Oh my goodness.
What a wild 3 races we had so far. And now most of the field has been set for the Winstel 400, and the rest of these drivers will go to the last chance qualifier tomorrow.
Exactly correct. Big time win here though for Nick Doucette. Congratulations to him. What a wild last little restart there that was. That was absolutely fantastic. That was some very fun racing.
I said there was no chance we made it green to the end, but we somehow did.
That's absolutely insane. That was fantastic stuff from all of these guys. Really great racing after that early rash of yellows.
It really does show the talent in these fields, right? Because, you know,
it does.
As aggressive as they were, they made it those 5 laps. You wouldn't think they could possibly do it without a crash, but there's Nick Doucette celebrating on the front straightaway here. Let's go over our transfer positions here. You see him celebrate again another win at Daytona for Winstel competition, although this is unofficial. Just gets him his way into the show tomorrow.
He is burning it down.
As we see, Nick Doucette, Jose Salas Jr., Jacob Potak, Kevin McAdams, Malad Radman, Jackson Sims, Christian Budd, Spencer Owens, Andy Tripiano, Justin Alillo, Dylan Roberts, and Miles Davis all transfer into the show tomorrow. And look at the disparity between where these guys started and where they finished. Like, Jose Salas Jr. didn't qualify, started in the back. Andy Tripiano, Spencer Owens worked their way forward. But we really don't see many guys who started up at the top 10 or so in this transfer spots, right? Most of the guys who started in the front are in this group here, right? That, we talked about it, that decision to not pit early, I think really hurt a lot of guys.
It absolutely did. You look at guys in this graphic, you look at, I believe he's not even on this graphic, but Sean Pellig, Aaron Smith, he led the first, I believe, 25 laps of this event, and he's not even in the show. He's going to have to fight his way through this, through the second chance, or the last chance.
13th, 2nd, 16th, 11th, 12th, all these guys started up front, and they just gave up the track position early, and they could never get it back, right?
Tough break for all these guys. Alrighty. See if we can't get the winner of this event, Nick Doucette, down here. All right,
Nick, another
Nick.
trip to victory lane for you. How did it feel out there? It looked like it was some pretty intense battling out there.
Yeah, if you want to call it that, I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure what that race was. Things are bad when you have Tyler Head summoned and giving us a lecture on racecraft, which I think was well needed and well deserved. There towards halfway, it was quite the event. But I mean, it's how these things go. You get wrecked out of your heat races. You're still mad. You haven't had a lot of time to cool off, and you have to strap back into your, if you want to call it a backup car, to come back out and do another heat race, and you're racing against the people you're still mad at. So you're on a mission, and wrecks are going to happen. I'd like to say up front was fairly clean. It was a good all-around race. I mean, once I had positioned myself comfortably in the top 12, I didn't really care where I had finished. But on that last lap there, I know it's a win's a win, and sometimes you just gotta work the lanes. And I felt like I did that pretty good, and ended up coming home with a win.
Fantastic to hear, Nick. Anybody you want to shout out before we send you away?
Shout out to the whole admin crew who's working hard to get this event rolling, and it's so far it's going pretty good. I think a lot of I don't know if a lot of people are having a lot of fun right now. I had to mute the chatter there so I could hear you guys talking to me, but all in all, it's a really big effort that's put through with the whole Winstel admin team, and I gotta thank you guys for broadcasting the race, and thank it to ABN, I believe, that's coming on for this event, and also for our Winstel season. So hopefully we put on a good show for our viewers.
Alrighty, Nick. First place tonight. Maybe might see you first place tomorrow. Congratulations, and have a good one.
You as well.
Thank you. All right, we'll drag second place finisher here, Jose.
Hello.
Jose, you finished second. You made it. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. I feel like I got robbed the last race. They said a wreck was my fault when it was just a racing deal. So coming on this race, I
agree 100%.
Thank you. Then coming on this race, I played a strategy perfectly. You
did.
Yeah, I pinned like lap 15. I stay out the next yellow because I knew they were just going to wreck because these guys are very bad. And then, I just ended up finishing top 5 because they just kept wrecking.
A very sound strategy. Yeah, we were talking about that.
I finished
really
second.
didn't like that move to stay out from the leaders there. Were you confident when you came out on lap 15 that it would work out for you?
No, I thought I was just going to get wrecked.
How was the draft out there? How'd you feel like it was working through the field again?
Well, that was like my first time running in the pack, because the last race I stayed in the back and didn't do anything, and then when I got into the pack for like 2 laps, I got wrecked instantly. So it's my first time being in the draft, and I was kind of worried about just wrecking people from like the bump draft, but like I didn't wreck anyone that race, so I felt like it's pretty good.
I mean, looking at your car, I'm surprised you didn't.
Well, I got involved like the first like 3 wrecks, but yeah, other than that, yeah, it's fine.
Jose, anybody you want to shout out before we send you back upstairs?
I want to shout out Evan Locke for berating me that last race, even though that wreck was not my fault. And then I also want to shout out Sean Peleg. He should have made it in with me. Unfortunately, he has to race in the last chance race tomorrow.
And I'm sure he's thrilled about it.
He's very thrilled.
All right, Jose, thank you for that. Have a good one and congratulations.
Thank you.
And,
all right, and
the grid here, we see our third place finisher, Jacob Potak. I'll have to recompose herself a little bit after Jose.
Oh my goodness. Jacob, you got us?
I do.
Alrighty, finished P3 and you made the show. How are you feeling?
Oh, amazing. That last restart, I was 20th, coming to 5 to go. Didn't think I was going to be able to make it happen, but I did.
Fantastic, run up through the field, my man. Talk about the racing tonight and what you're expecting for tomorrow.
It was super intense. With this package, I've never had to slam the brakes so much at a plate track, but when everyone's playing fair and it's fun, it is a really fun package to work with. And hoping maybe for a little bit calmer first half of the race tomorrow compared to these 40 lap dashes, but hopefully another fun finish at the end.
You and all of us in here are all hoping for that. Anybody you would like to shout out and before we send you off?
Dylan Roberts, he pushed me really well on that. He restarted 22nd behind me that last restart, and me and him got up there, so shout out to Dylan.
Yeah,
I
was watching you two that entire last run. I knew you two were probably gonna make a good run, and yeah, it's good to see you, and hopefully we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.
Yep.
That was Jacob
All right.
Potak, our number 3rd place finisher. And as we finish up the racing here tonight, reminder you can catch us again tomorrow, starting at 5 o'clock Eastern time for the last chance qualifier with the top 3. We'll try to advance our way into the Winstel 400 30-lap dash then. So we look at the people who transferred in through today's race. And then at 9:20 at 7:45 tomorrow, we have the big event, the Winstel 400. So look forward to seeing you all there, and thank you all for tuning in and watching. I am Emily Howe, and beside me, Parker Alexander signing out for another fantastic night of racing.
Goodbye, everybody.